If you've ever been ready to lace up the skates to celebrate the start of the NHL season, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. I swear, if I could find a piece of ice today, I would go ice skating. I'm not sure that's in the cards. What is in the cards is a bunch of news and another market session here. It is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, and we have a lot of stuff going on. Plus, I have something that's happening right now that I'm going to show you the power of Benzinga Pro. It's going to blow your mind. We're going to go through a lot of stuff today. It is a T3 Tuesday. I hope y'all got rested from last night. Hopefully you enjoyed the game last night. My Cubbies, it might be over for them. But we got another session here today. We got more fun to be had, money to be made. Let's go ahead and get it. Benzinga's PreMarket Playbook, the Tuesday edition for October 7th, starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, everybody. I hope that you all had a wonderful Monday night. I know I did. And waking up the next day, the universe is in order. Blessed to be here. Happy to see a whole bunch of returning faces. And absolutely stoked that the NHL starts up again tonight. Cannot wait to watch my Blackhawks, who are probably going to lose to the Panthers. But nonetheless, I'm going to enjoy it. Francis is first today. Good morning, Francis. The early bird does indeed get the worm. And Francis is your early bird here today. Azrar, good morning, Ryan, and everyone. Had a good day with AMD yesterday. Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did. Were you long going into yesterday? Did you pull a Barat and short it right at the open, make a bunch on the pullback? You'll have to let me know. Lots of good vibes and feels out there with what's going on. And I just love to see that our community is banking off of it. That makes me super happy. Cad Monkey, good morning. Welcome back. Falvis, am I pronouncing that right? You'll have to correct me. Favis Reads. You'll have to let me know how close I am there. I definitely want to get your name right. Good morning and welcome back. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Zach, good morning. Brian, good morning. Jane, good morning. Kelly, good morning. Bobby, good morning. AC, welcome back. Sam, good morning. I'm ready to be richer than I was yesterday. That is absolutely the right attitude. We are going to continue to try to be 2% better every day, both in the pocketbook and in the personability and professionalness. We're off to a good start here today. Ari Stock Market, good morning. All That Glitters, good morning. Chuck, good morning. Big Dave, good morning. Lion Atlas, good morning. Sideshow, good morning. Can you please help me understand the psychology of why SPRB is still being bought at 220 yesterday? I know it's low float, but it's hard to grasp why it kept going. Sure, we can talk about that. We actually had a discussion about this yesterday as it pertains to FOMO. We also kind of tied in AMD to that, but I'll put SPRP on the list. Sideshow, one thing, if we get rolling here, and we're not talking about the FOMO aspect that you want to cover, just nudge me and remind me. No reason to spam, but definitely nudge me. You know how sometimes I get off track. We should definitely cover that. I think that would be beneficial for everybody. Dara, good morning. Welcome back. Big Hurt Trading. Brent. Big Hurt. I'll take that. Brent, good morning. It's good to see you again. Sun-Kissed Yogi. Good as always. Welcome back. Day Trader. Likewise. Good as always. Brandy. Likewise, good as always. Big Bees, good morning, team. IBM, hells yeah. So that IBM short on the government shutdown, that's not materializing yet, huh? Asking for a friend, just saying. Nonetheless, good morning. Candace, good morning. Welcome back. Harris, good morning. Blazed Rhino, good morning. Producer's locked in as always. He's always awake. I'm not sure the producer sleeps. We might have to check to see if he's an AI robot, but that's another story. Lion Atlas, good morning. I think I already said that, but good morning again, boss. Bernhard, good morning. Dirkus, good morning. Tom, good morning. Looks like the crazy level you called for SPRB wasn't too crazy. Good call. Nope. And 13 had another crazy level too. So it looks like the crazy levels are still working for us. We'll keep trying to do more of that here today. Neville, good morning. Dan, good morning. Lambo Rolls, good morning. Special K, Big Bear Hug, and Tracy, good morning. JJ Pervez, good morning. Who else did I miss here? Maverick, good morning. Richard Judge, welcome back. Alan, good morning. Yassine, welcome back. Faves, okay. I think I'll try to remember that. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Kyle, good morning. Tennis is Life, good morning. Who am I missing here? Gilbert, good morning. Johnny, good morning. Steppen, good morning. Boy, we got a lot of early birds here today. You guys are pumping me up. Steppen, good morning. SA3X, good morning. Super Sam, SJ, Austin, good morning. Angelito, good morning. We've got a whole big group here today. We are off. Let's go ahead and do our stock market today. All right, futures were flattish here in the morning. S&P futures up 0.03% as it currently stands. Dow futures up 0.06%, and the NASDAQ up 0.1%. The notable part about this, it is basically flat, but the notable part about this is that it's actually up off the lows already this morning. When the pre-market first opened here, we were actually lower, and now we've traded from red to green. So it looks like we're moving in the right direction. Let's go ahead and take a look at some cues from last session here, with utilities, consumer discretionary, and communication services recording the biggest gains. Most sectors on the S&P 500 closed on a positive note on Monday. However, consumer staples and real estate stocks bucked the overall market trend, closing the session lower. Advanced micro devices deal with OpenAI fueled the AI-linked stocks on Monday, which have been powering Wall Street's bull run this year. Meanwhile, President Trump indicated willingness to work with Democrats on healthcare and other policies, but only after they reopened the government, which is in its 7th day of a shutdown beginning on October 1st. The U.S. trade deficit data, which was supposed to be released today, will be delayed because of that shutdown. Now, wanted to talk a little bit about some stocks in focus here today. Going to do this a little bit differently. Trilogy Metals, ticker TMQ. They skyrocketed 180% in the pre-market on Tuesday. This is as the White House announces plans to take a 10% stake through a $35.6 million investment to support the mining exploration in Alaska's Ambler Mining District. So that stock, ticker TMQ, popping here today. AMD rose 2.57%. That was after the deal inked with OpenAI, which involves AMD supplying its Instinct GPU accelerators for OpenAI's next generation AI infrastructure. AppLovin, a show favorite here, ticker APP, tumbled 2.56%. The SEC is investigating its data collection practices, including potential violations of partner services agreements related to ad targeting. App under pressure here today. Telomere Pharmaceuticals, ticker TELO, jumped 31% or thereabouts after the company released promising preclinical study results for its lead compound Telomere 1. Sanuwave Health, ticker SNWV, dropped 14.28% as it issued preliminary third quarter revenue results below estimates and also cut its full year 25 revenue guidance from 48 million to 50 million to 44 to 46 million. Let's go back to the 10-year here. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.17%, and the 2-year bond yielded 3.59%. All right, so that's a breakdown with some of the stuff going on already here today. Let's go back to Pro and take a look at the SPY chart here today. Kind of set this up for where we're at. Here's what we're looking at. We're going to start on the daily, and then we're going to zoom inside. We still continue to trade sideways here, technically, because the all-time high of 672.68 that we put in on Friday has not yet been taken. However, that app's key level here today. So upside level 672.68. We're currently at 671.88. So we're really not even $1 away from that. Very, very close to challenging yet another all-time high. We'll see if we get that here today. Downside levels are the same levels that we've been looking at. It's the former all-time high that we've broke out from, that value 667.34. We'll see if that offers any support should we sell off here today. And then beneath that at 663.13, we have the 20-day moving average, which since April has represented a entry level for a SPY swing long trade. If we look inside here at the SPY, we can tell exactly what's going on. It clearly seems to be this area up here, right around that all-time high. We had it at 672.68, but this entire area, we might as well just call this 672 to 673. This is the area the market's really been kind of banging on. And if you just take a look at some of the lines here, let's just draw a horizontal line right here. Draw a trend line starting at these lows right here. You can see exactly what the market looks to do. This is a wedge here that we look to break out of to the upside. We'll see if we have the strength to go ahead and do that here today. Okay, let's talk about some of the news here. Let me go back to the news page here. We want to discuss some insights from analysts, and then I want to break down some of these other stories before we go to our T3 guest here for today. And like I said, I've got a lesson to show you exactly how Benzinga Pro can make you some money. There was a great example of it here today, and I'll show you after the T3 segment how you can use that. For any of you that are interested in this or say, you know, I'm kind of new to news trading, I got something for you here today I think you're going to be excited about. Corporate America is positioned to deliver another strong earnings seasons for the third quarter of 2025, with the financial impact of the Trump administration's tariffs expected to be, quote, much less than anticipated, end quote. An LPL financial report predicts a quarter with, quote, little suspense, forecasting low teens earnings growth rate for the S&P 500. Jeffrey Bookbinder, LPL's chief equity strategist, says a resilient economy, strong investment in artificial intelligence, and a weaker U.S. dollar provide, quote, an excellent opportunity to post another low teens earnings growth rate, end quote. The muted tariff effects are attributed to several factors, including AI-driven productivity gains, special investment deals for major companies like Apple and Intel, and costs being spread across exporters, importers, and consumers. This performance follows a, quote, outstanding second quarter earnings season, end quote. LPL Research believes a 5% beat seems like a reasonable expectation above current consensus estimates for the third quarter. While more tariff pressure is likely, Wall Street analysts expect profit margins to continue to expand. Just a reminder here, I know we don't have data because of the government shutdown, but as mentioned yesterday, we have a host of Fed speakers today and really all week here. August U.S. trade deficit, the actual print that we were due today, that'll be delayed. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic will speak at 10 a.m. Fed Reserve Vice Chair of Supervision Michelle Bowman will speak at 10:05. Federal Reserve Governor Stephen Miron will speak at 10:45 and again at 4:05. And Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari will speak at 11:30. And August's consumer credit data will be out by 3. Those are some of the data points and things that you can expect here today. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the shutdown. Tom Lee making some rounds here. Fundstrat's Tom Lee has expressed optimism about the U.S. economy despite the ongoing government shutdown, citing 2 key factors that could drive investor confidence. In an interview with CNBC on Monday, Lee said massive investments in the artificial intelligence sector and the Federal Reserve's dovish stance are, quote, powerful tailwinds for the economy. The Fed's 9-month pause on interest rate cuts until September kept the Institute for Supply Management, or ISM, Manufacturing Purchase Managers Index, the PMI, below 50 for 31 consecutive months. Now the Fed's dovish, which basically is a lifeline for the economy. He also suggested that once the cautious manufacturing sector crosses the 50 mark in that PMI reading, the economy will shift back to expansion mode, benefiting financial stocks, small caps, and the tech rally. This is important because we have seen a lot of these, right? Small caps, we look at those every day. Tech has really been a leader. We have a lot of folks that trade tech here. And then financial stocks. These are all stocks that folks trade around here. So it looks like we should be in good shape if that does, in fact, pan out here. Lee said a government shutdown disrupts economic activity and weakens confidence, necessitating a more dovish stance from the Fed. Quote, a shutdown makes people nervous, and so the Fed will have to be even more dovish. That's why stocks can rally even more than they have already, end quote. He added that despite a 30% rally in stocks, investors have been really skeptical ahead of the fourth quarter, leading to what he calls, quote, the most hated V-shaped rally. I'll be honest with you, I've only been doing this full time since 2014. I've heard a number of times already that the rally that we're currently in, whenever that is the most hated rally ever. Looks like that is continuing here. The Wall Street analyst comments come in the wake of his previous response to the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's assertion that stock prices are, quote, fairly highly valued, end quote. Lee had then urged investors not to view Powell's comments as a warning sign, suggesting that such caution is typical of the central bank. The bullish outlook also contrasts with billionaire hedge fund manager legend Paul Tudor Jones, who's warning of a potential blow-off rally with a, quote, really, really, end quote, bad ending. Jones has pointed out similarities between today's tech-heavy market and the late 1990s dot-com surge, cautioning the current fiscal monetary combination is unprecedented since the early post-war period. Now, I did dig up a tweet here that I want to share with you just as kind of a reminder. Paul Tudor Jones may be right, and it may not happen this year. Here's a look at a tweet from a friend of Benzinga, J.C. Peretz, who's been doing this for a long time, extremely sharp guy, very, very good trader here. He tweeted this out yesterday, and I thought that this was fitting. As a reminder, this was the cover of Newsweek from October of 1998. The top in the NASDAQ, it wasn't for 17 months after this. So I know we talk a lot about how they're, overvaluation, all of this froth, probably a crash, market really needs a downturn. We've also said how the market can remain solvent longer than we can remain rational. And this is another reminder here that even when we think we have everything lined up, market might have other plans. So keep that in mind. Even if you're waiting for a sell-off here, you might be waiting and waiting and waiting some more. We'll see when that actually firms up here. Again, the big takeaway that I want everyone to realize here, the more nimble you stay, the more plugged in you stay to what's going on every day, the less something like this is going to affect you, as you're going to have an opportunity to rotate or adjust your portfolio in order to handle it. All right, let's talk about AMD for a little bit here. Renowned short seller Jim Chanos has publicly questioned the financial benefits of the landmark partnership between AMD and OpenAI, suggesting the deal may not be as lucrative for AMD as it appears. This is exactly what we had talked about yesterday on the Happy Hour program. We had a couple of people that, AMD popped, and that's great if you own the stock, but what does it really mean? Some worry there. In a series of social media posts, Chanos scrutinized the deal's structure, where AMD is set to receive, quote, tens of billions of dollars in revenue, end quote, while providing OpenAI with equity warrants of a similar potential value. Chanos' central criticism hinges on this apparent trade-off. Quote, if you're giving up tens of billions of dollars worth of equity warrants, shouldn't this deal bring in more than tens of billions of dollars in revenue for AMD? End quote. His comment implies that the net gain for AMD shareholders could be minimal, likening the agreement to a massive foam of vendor financing where a seller subsidizes a buyer's purchase. If you want to go through Chanos' tweets at all or anything that he says, they're all linked here in the article. I went ahead and threw that in the chat. Chanos questions the organic AI compute demand, which is something that has always been talked about here. The veteran investor further challenged the prevailing market narrative surrounding the artificial intelligence boom. He found it contradictory that the market with supposedly limitless needs for computing power, sellers would need to offer such significant incentives. Do you think it's a bit odd that when the narrative is demand for compute is infinite, the sellers keep subsidizing the buyers? Chanos remarked, casting doubt on the organic strength of the demand. The Chat GPT parent, OpenAI, and AMD partner. Of course, this is considered a landmark deal. The deal, which was announced Monday, involves AMD supplying its Instinct GPU accelerators for OpenAI's next generation AI infrastructure. AMD Chief Financial Officer Jean Hu stated the partnership is, quote, expected to deliver tens of billions of dollars in revenue, end quote, and be highly accretive to adjusted earnings per share. Chanos, in his replies on X, also raised concerns about accounting practices, suggesting the true cost of the equity warrants might be obscured in non-GAAP earnings reports. So we'll see how this all shakes out. I'd be curious to see if any of you are maybe looking for a longer-term short here on AMD. Kind of a bold move, given what we've seen in the market, given the momentum that a lot of these stocks have. Let me know, though. Are you guys setting up for any of that? Are you going to call BS on any of this stuff? And looking for a pullback? And then if so, let me know what some of those targets are. All right, let's talk a little bit about AppLovin. I'm going to break the news up a little bit here and go to the chart. Here's what it looks like. So yesterday, near the close, AppLovin with a huge move down, 667 to 550 on a really kind of a flash of a pullback. We did bounce. We retested the lows. We held those lows. Then we just kind of traded sideways, up a little bit, but sideways through most of the pre-market. Here today, ahead of the open, AppLovin looks like it's paring back some of those gains here. We'll see where this ends up opening. Currently sitting at 617 here in the pre-market. This is up 5% from where it closed yesterday. Now, what's going on here with AppLovin? I'm glad you asked. It slumped on Monday afternoon after Bloomberg reported that the SEC is probing the mobile ad tech firm's data collection practices, including possible breaches of partner service agreements for ad targeting, according to people familiar with the matter. Shares fell as much as 19% during Monday's regular session. Benzinga did reach out to AppLovin for comment on the report. The review by the agency's Cyber and Emerging Tech Unit follows a whistleblower complaint and short seller reports alleging unauthorized fingerprinting to track users across apps, conduct restricted by Apple and until February by Google. Per Bloomberg, AppLovin denies creating alternative device identifiers and said it regularly engages with regulators. Bloomberg on Monday noted the SEC actually declined to comment so far. An SEC probe heightens the enforcement risk that could bring fines or mandated charges threatening precision in AppLovin's targeting engine and return on investment. It also puts platform relationships like Meta, Amazon, and Google at risk. Anytime those partners impose any limits those partners impose could curb data access, compress take rates, and slow growth. After a 70% year-to-date rally in the S&P 500 edition, Monday's report could also lead to a derating as uncertainty rises. So let me know what you folks think here on App. First of all, if any of you caught the news flow yesterday and were able to short this, there was a lot to be made. You also had like a pretty good bounce right off the lows there. And it looks like we're gearing up to trade up here today. So I guess, Lion, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you adding AppLovin on weakness here today? Do you think that this is kind of much ado about nothing? And maybe there's a bull trade here on that big pullback from AppLovin? Certainly looks like there's a number of traders in the pre-market that think that already. Be curious to see what this group thinks. Ticker APP, definitely going to be on watch today. We'll also take a look at some of the option flow and see if there's anything we can't discern from that. One more thing here to cover. This is the Archer speculation, Archer and Tesla. Shout out to our chat member Izzy yesterday for bringing this to our attention and talking about this quite early. I want to share some more details on everything that's going on here. Shares of electric air taxi maker Archer Aviation, that's ticker ACHR, surging Monday afternoon, becoming a top trending stock on social media as investors speculated about a potential connection to a highly anticipated announcement from Tesla. The frenzy ignited after Archer released a promotional video last week featuring its midnight air taxi alongside a Tesla vehicle and its Optimus robot. The rumors intensified when Tesla's social media account posted a cryptic video of its logo on a spinning propeller-like object, teasing an announcement for Tuesday. Now, for any of you that want to watch that or go into that, here is the link to the article here. It's going to have hyperlinks out to a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here. You can check that out here this morning. Good morning to anybody I missed here. Go Getta, Jeremy, Empyrean, Yes That Girl, James, Neville, Kel. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad that we're here and we're locked in, ready to go. Lion here giving me an answer to my question. I will add app if it keeps dipping. You know me, Ryan. When there's blood in the streets, I open my checkbook and start buying. Okay. Lion Atlas giving you the plan there. Okay, back to Archer here. The cryptic video of the spinning propeller-like object, that led to widespread speculation on social media that Tesla could be entering the electric vertical takeoff and landing market or forming a partnership with Archer. While many on Wall Street anticipate Tesla's announcement to actually be the launch of a more affordable EV model, the buzz around a possible collaboration was enough to send Archer stock to its highest point since July. So, and really quickly here, it is worth mentioning that Archer actually has a really strong momentum score, the Benzinga proprietary momentum score of 96.5 there. Let's go back to the chart here. Curious to see, has anyone soured on this? Does anyone think we're still getting an Archer and Tesla combination announcement here? Or is it just going to be about the Model Y? You'll have to let me know what you think of on that. This is what Archer's chart looked like. This was actually a great mention yesterday from our group. This thing just traded up all day and then popped a little in the after hours before pulling back and then returning to equilibrium. We'll see what happens here today when we get that announcement and how it affects both of these stocks. Just kind of staying on the Tesla theme here before we go to T3. Gerber Kawasaki co-founder Ross Gerber has dismissed the launch of an affordable Tesla Model Y trim level as speculation takes over ahead of the October 7th event. Taking to the social media platform X on Monday, Gerber shared his thoughts in a post following a teaser released by Elon Musk's company. Quote, "Please not another Model Y that's less good for less money. It's really sad," end quote. Someone has have to do a wellness check on Ross Gerber here and maybe get him some milk. The comments followed similar lines shared by investors, including Future Funds LLC managing director Gary Black, who criticized the decision, saying that a new affordable Model Y does not offer a chance for Tesla to increase its brand leverage or expand its TAM, its total addressable market, via a new form factor. My goodness. Meanwhile, Gerber has warned that Tesla could face a difficult Q4 despite the EV giant's third quarter deliveries exceeding Wall Street and analyst estimates, as the company delivered more than 497,000 units during Q3. And as a quick reminder here, momentum rating for Tesla extremely strong at 88.5 and the growth score at 75.5, another pretty strong score there. Even the quality is 60 plus on that. So, okay, really good stuff there with all of the news. Let me take a look here at Tesla real quick, see what we got. Let me know if anyone's looking for a Tesla trade here. I know we talked about this yesterday. This was actually a pretty good buy off of that pull from the open. We were higher in the open. We peaked or spiked a little bit right out of the opening print, but very quickly reversed that. A number of you folks were all over that in real time yesterday, but that actually traded to the bottom end of the pre-market range and bounced. This actually gave a pretty good day trade. You're looking at almost 15 handles there, actually 16 handles on that trade from trough to peak. So Tesla actually gave a pretty good trade yesterday. We'll see if we get another one here today. This is what the daily chart looks like. Sure looks to me like there's some upside momentum here. I definitely have 480 as the next really significant level. We're obviously going to have to clear this 471. Tesla here not quite overbought yet, 63.87 on the RSI. We did recently have a pullback here to the 20-day moving average where we kind of tapped that and turned around from it. we'll see what direction Tesla goes here today. No position for me on this one presently, but I would be interested in this if we can find a tradable setup here today. Johnny's asking thoughts on Joby versus Archer. I'll be honest, I still think this vertical takeoff is a little bit further away. Me personally, I like Archer more, but you should understand that this might just be my own implicit trader bias. I've traded Archer before. I've actually done pretty good with Archer in the past. I think the last time that I bought this, I bought it at like $3. I don't have any right now, so I'm not in this current move here, but I've traded Archer successfully in the past. I think I kind of like this more than Joby, but I'm not really deep into that. The reality is if that became like a bigger theme or a bigger sector that we could trade, I would look into multiple options. I wouldn't look into just one. But if I had to pick between the two, I would say Archer. I think there are some folks here that prefer Joby. So if you have a contrarian opinion to that or a different opinion to that, I'd like to hear that. Okay, what time is it here? 8:31. We are expecting a T3 guest here pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and take a look here at JD. This was a stock that you folks wanted to take a look at. Someone here from the chat wanted to take a look at. I actually do think JD's at a pretty interesting spot. I'm not a huge fan of trading Chinese stocks. I generally don't hold them for longer than a day trade myself, but JD, probably one of the more trustable Chinese names out there, if you can say that. What's interesting here is that we had a nice move off of this 500-day moving average. You can see really since April this year. JD has kind of used this as support. I understand we peaked beneath this several times, but we never really broke down from this area. Now we've started to trade off of that area, and in the process, we've recaptured a number of these key moving averages. But most notably here was that we ran into the 200, and we're currently in the process of breaking that. So right when we went up and tested it, we didn't have the strength to break it. We back tested the 20 and the 100. Then we made another attempt at it, really kind of consolidated around the 200. And then on what day was this? Wednesday, October 1st, we actually peaked above, had a couple of closes above, dipped below, and now we're peaking above again. So one of the things I'd really like to see here for a long side trade on JD, I'd really like to get 3 consecutive closes above this 200-day. We had one yesterday. We're starting above the 200-day here today. So as long as this can stay above 35.54, we can be in line for our second close above the 200-day. And then we can see what tomorrow brings. I do expect some resistance up here around 37. And then you can actually use some of these other areas for some resistance. It's a little bit gappy in here. So 37, probably 39. This says 39.21, but I'd almost say that that's probably around 39. Then we have another gap here from 40 to 41. We have a couple of other highs up here to this 46.5. This looks to be one of these near-term levels. Looking at the volume shelf here, the volume profile, this actually doesn't look bad either. It looks like we're pretty much right at that volume point of control. I would imagine here for a long side trade, this would be a pretty good area to build your stops against. All right. What else? We still don't have a guest yet here. That's okay. I'll roll with a couple of other things. And then if the guest shows up, we'll just go right to him. You know what we'll probably do? We'll do this. We will do this little quick lesson here. Oh, never mind. Guest is here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Give him a sec to take a breath, get that smile on, and then we will go ahead and talk to Red Dog from T3. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Scott, good morning. Happy Tuesday, my man. How are you doing here today?
Conrad, come here. Hold on one second. I could see you. You look very handsome. Just wait. There you go. Conrad, come over here. You know me. I'm not
looks like we got an audio issue.
Turn this off. Turn this on. This thing, no. Let's see if maybe I can go through here.
I'm going to drop Red Dog until he gets his sound fixed up there. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go. Real quick. Thumbs up. We ready to go? Oh, we're ready to go. Okay. You're real quick with that. Red Dog, I'll try it again here. Happy Tuesday. How you doing here today?
I'm actually doing really good, my friend. Really, really good. Try not to like get it too ahead of myself and try not to be giddy because sometimes things are good, sometimes things suck. And
Yeah.
at this point, I have to say, for first time in my career, Ryan, you do this a long time. Sometimes you get a little lady luck. I put on, I've been holding like 20, 30 positions throughout the course of this active sequence. And I did have AMD on yesterday. So yesterday
Mhm.
was a home run. And I haven't been in a trade where all of a sudden, you're not even playing it for something. It's just a good technical pattern. You have the options on. It's the right trade. And, it was up 50 points. So yesterday was a great day.
Okay. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about here since our last visit. I believe you were here September 9th last time. We were waiting the PPI and the CPI. But before we get into that, I got a really quick anecdotal story to share with you that I think you're going to enjoy.
Okay.
When we first brought you on here, we talked about your opening routine, and you made a really good point about how important it is to have a morning routine, get into I guess the game, or get into the right mindset. And I adopted the push-ups from you because it's very easy to do and it made me feel amazing. I can start my day with it every day. One of the other things that I do at the same time, or I have been doing on the same days, is I do at least 3.5 miles on the pavement. I like walking outside. I do a very brisk walk because I've dealt with former knee and back issues as opposed to running, but really you could do the same thing here with running. And I'm out there every single day. And last week on Thursday, one of my neighbors, I had my earbuds in, I was minding my own business, happy as a clam. One of my neighbors came out there and stopped me and said, "Hey, I just wanted," she has no idea who I am. I've never talked to this person before. She said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know how inspirational it is to see you out here every single day." She said, "My mom sits inside. She looks out the window. She says, that guy is out there walking every single day. I should start doing that." And I said, "Well, that's great. Did she start doing that?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, how does she feel?" She said, "She feels much better." Already, very, very quickly, she's noticing an increase in her quality of life just from simply getting outside and walking. And she cited me as an inspirational example for doing that. So the reason I wanted to tell you that is because I think it's awesome that you share your morning routine, that you have a propensity for working out and getting your mindset started in there. And that is contagious. And we are starting to see that now from other completely random people. So thank you for doing that to me. I'm paying it forward by doing it to others.
I love it. Lead by example, my
That's right.
dog. That's all you have to do is just, they say like everyone gets all upset about what's going on in the world. And there's some things we can't control, but what we can control is our routine, our process, how we teach others, how we go about our day. I'll give you something else to do, Ryan, also.
Let's
So I
do it.
did a race 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And during that race, it was a Ragnar race. I was there with my 8 buddies. And some guy comes over to us and he just starts talking to us. And he basically said that he's been roaming the country because his brother committed suicide and picking up one piece of garbage a day and telling everyone he sees to pick up one piece of garbage a day. So he was so inspiring to me that I picked up one piece of garbage every single day since. So if you want to add to your push-ups and you're walking, pick up one piece of garbage a day and people will see you picking up a piece of garbage. I go to Dunkin' Donuts every day, and every day in the parking lot, I look for a piece of garbage and I pick it up, and some people look at me all funny. And, basically that's what I've been doing. And with Red Dog Mindset, I've said it a bunch of times, and now there's, hundreds of people picking up garbage. So, hey, if you all pick up one piece of garbage on top of everything else, hey, maybe the world gets to be a little bit of a cleaner, better place.
You got yourself a deal. I will adopt that here today, and I will let you know if that catches on with anybody else. Really, really good stuff. Red Dog, let's dive into some of the stocks here because that's really, I'm sure, what everybody's waiting for. I was going over the list of stocks that we talked about last time, and I am pleased to announce that every single stock that you talked to our group about traded higher. Every single one, 100%. That doesn't always happen. You know better than anybody else out there that you don't win everything, but you are absolutely on fire here. We had talked a little bit about some of the rotation there. You had mentioned XBI and XLE, and part of me is just wondering, is there still more of this rotation? Is there more left on this trade, or are you seeing something else out there?
Well, we probably spoke about the XBI right around here, in June, right when it broke the downtrend and finally broke out of, a big, trapped area. And from there, you've had a lot of, higher lows and higher highs. And I do think short term, the XBI just kind of topped out a little bit and can see the 8 day. But I was on a spaces yesterday with guys that specialize in the bios, and like Red Dog, I understand, we just had a big move, but take a look at the weekly chart of the XBI. So I looked at the weekly chart. I was like, wow, I'm like, from 174, red dog reversal, broke the wedge to the downside. It just got back up to like, a resistance area. So he's like, why can't we see 120? 120 is just what we broke down from. Yes, we had a big move actively for our momentum guys, but overall, there's a lot of things going on in bios that this can continue. So I do think it can continue. Also, I haven't been as active there, but as a chief strategic officer, I put a lot of stuff out there. So if you want to think about it also, as far as like the IWM had a big move, look at the 5-year chart of the IWM. For this is 2021. It was here, just got back, it's been above the 8-day. Although it's had a big move. If this is the start of another 3 months, maybe it's 3 more months, you don't want to be just listening to all the bubble talk out there. You want to be listening to the moving averages. You want to be using a tier system. You want to be finding great names on the move, because both of these, look pretty good on the weekly. Like you go to the daily, hey, daily, yes, does look like it. Actually, the daily looks fine too. I posted this chart this morning, to the alpha team, broke above this wedge here, 243 after a small pause near the old high. And, looks like it could hold here and continue. So the charts are leading the way. Turn the TVs off and figure out how to engage these things, because there's a lot of money out there right now. When there's a lot of money out there, it doesn't happen often. I always say like 3 times a year, you have these pockets of 4 to 6 weeks where you can make your money. And then you also, out of a decade, you have 1 to 3 years where you can kill it. And in this time period, it's one of those times.
Okay, awesome. Real quickly, I wanted to go to XLV, if you wouldn't mind, because this is another one that we had talked about. And I think that there's a lesson here on XLV. It looked like here when we had talked, you had talked about this moving above the 200-day, which I believe is, it looks to me on my screen here like a bluish purple line on the top of the, yeah, right there. So when we had talked about this, you were waiting for a move above this. It's interesting because it actually tested that line, peaked above it, but then it fell back from that area, and then you got the move that you were looking for. The reason I wanted to highlight this here is because what is your thought process for either staying in the trade and not stopping out because your thesis is good there, or you're listening to the chart, or even potentially adding if you missed that first move, or if you think, I have even more conviction in this trade now. What's the thought process when you pull back from that moving average and set up before that launch?
The thought process, if it gets through it and fails, you get out. But the better thing is you have to revisit it again, because you never know. This could have been a breakout failure. Look at it, got below all the moving averages. If you just added here and added here as an active trader, how do you stay with that? You had to get out here. When this breakout failed with these 2 bars, you get out of the way. Never gave you another clue to be back in it. Made it slow. The key is you had to go back to it again. You had to say, hey, it's not ready here. It's ready here. That's why you have to get your mind right. That's why you have to be up in the morning. That's why you have to, know your go time, because here it didn't work, but then here it worked. So if you said, I'm never doing this again, I lost money the last time, well, then you miss this time. You know how many times stocks you try and it's just not ready? It doesn't mean it knows you're doing it. It knows you're going after it. It's just not ready. Like, I'm going to do a case in point in Microsoft, because Microsoft last week hurt me. It didn't hurt me. I just didn't stay with it. So, I was telling my guys, I had this on as a power play. I was like, this is what you could do. You could be long verse 506, meaning like that's your stop because that was the low, or try and buy it through 520. So it wasn't 521.60, it was 520. So a bunch of times everyone kept buying it through 520 and it kept failing. So some people are like, I'm just staying verse 506. That's one strategy. You're buying verse support. You don't add to it for momentum. They never felt any pain. They just didn't get rewarded yet. And then there were a bunch of guys who don't do that, just try and play it through. Tried it a lot last week. It didn't work. And then yesterday, they're like, I'm done with this trade. And then you got it yesterday. So sometimes it takes a bunch of tries before it goes, and you have to stay with it and wait for it to really give you the clues. You're getting paid there. So there are other guys who said, hey, I'm long verse 506, tier 1, added for tier 2, got back to tier 1, and now it's a swing trade. But again, it took multiple times, and you had to have the endurance to stay with it.
I love this because this has happened to me a number of times where I've seen a setup. I said, I'm going to hit this. The stock doesn't cooperate. I think to myself, okay, maybe I was wrong. And then I go off and look at something else, only to have that stock do it sometimes the same day, later that day, but then in other cases, several days down the road. So really good advice there in terms of sticking with things, especially when you have a plan for all of that. Okay, the other thing that we talked about last time was Tesla. You were talking about how we could see some upside in Tesla, but you didn't have a position at the time. Look what Tesla's done. Where are we at now? We actually just talked about news about an event here today. There's rumors out there about what it could be. Where are we at with Tesla?
So Tesla, I think I don't remember where we were talking about it. It definitely that was another good example of being worn out. I remember trying it a few times in here. I'm like, you could be long versus 343 or add through 357.
That's where it was. It was just shy
Yeah.
of 360.
And it got through and it turned into my biggest trade. You know, I bought options, I bought stock. Once it got through, it gave you a follow through. Then it held 402, and then on its deliveries, it was up $10, and you were able to sell some strength, use your sell rules, and then it didn't hold 462. You could have adjusted again, got out of the way, lost a little, and then I actually repositioned into TSLL calls because I'm like, you know what? I don't. It's not an A trade anymore. It's got to prove that it could rebuild, kind of like Apple did post event. And then I bought TSL calls. I sold about 75% into them yesterday. It was better than I would have thought, holding 25%. And now we'll see what does Tesla do today. Right now it's down 6. I do think that people thought the event would be different than just a lower priced car. So they have to come up with something really good. Otherwise, I could see it vulnerable. If you want to look at the day chart of Tesla, go like this from yesterday. I just said, my guy's like, where should it hold if it's going to be any good? I'm like, well, if they want to keep some commitment, it probably needs to hold around this 445. And then if it gets loose and wide, it could go all the way back down to the 440. But then that would negate this, and that would mean it's just choppier and not special. So got to see how it reacts here with that. With the event. I don't know exactly what time it is, to be honest. Do you know what time it is?
And I'm not sure what to expect here. We talked yesterday about there being some rumors here with Archer Aviation. I don't know that I believe all of that yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out here. Okay, you and the rest of your guys have been absolutely killing iron. I get asked all the time, is there still more room here in iron? So I would start off with that. And then I got 2 new issues I want to talk to you about, both of them in the news here.
Iron, wow. Look at that.
Wow, is right.
I've written so many ebooks about the 8-day moving average. You do not stop. You don't short stocks above the 8-day moving average, and you don't short a stock just because you sold it early. 2 rules, write that stuff down. I put this on the rate around 25, and I'll be quite honest. I've made money here, but I haven't done as well as I probably should have. Sometimes I'm the chief strategic officer. I've posted the chart every single day with a plan, but I just haven't had the wherewithal to trade it as much as some people who turned it into their baby. What hasn't been my baby, it's just been on the list, and It's done well. It's up today with some news with NVIDIA. It's very extended. It's up 5, but it just goes to show you, just because you get out of it doesn't mean you have to short it. Right. I'd be trimming into this. Look where the 8-day is. That doesn't mean it's a short. I wish I was in it for today, but I'm just not. And it's been, it's a new name. The good lesson here too is that new names can change your life, can change your year. No one knew about this name a year or two ago. I had no idea. I didn't know about this until right around here. Same thing with DoorDash. We've talked about DoorDash how many times?
Yep.
Remember DoorDash? And no one really knew the name. And I showed you the weekly chart. I'm like, look at this cup and handle in DoorDash. I think it was trading around 144. I'm like, I bet you this thing will see at least, this prior area from when it came public. And then from here, I'm like, you know what? Probably sees a hell of a lot higher than that. It can go to new highs, and look where DoorDash is. So again, it's not Mag 7, but it's names that you can go on. You want to listen to CNBC and all the time, oh my God, how much longer could the Mag 7 drive the market? No, it's not driving the market. There's been so many better names out there if you do your homework. Dash has been a name that we've had on Power Plays a bunch of times. Some guys are just long it, and congrats. And same thing with like the Iron, just a new name. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at that.
Now look at that.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. That's the beauty of the business. The beauty of the business is you could even find like a name that's when the market's not even doing as well as it is, and you do your homework and it catches on, and it could change your life. So there's not a lot of businesses out there where something can change your life. Listen, my life doesn't always get changed. I'm consistent. I'm like a singles hitter, but every now and then you get that play or that trade that you milk, and like I say, you cost average your career in 1 or 2 years could help the whole cost average.
I'm in one of those right now, and we are rolling here. All right, next stock that I wanted to ask you about, another show.
You can't say that and just roll through. Which one are you in?
ONDS, baby.
Oh wow, good for you.
ONDS. I've been an investor in this since 2021. There's been a lot of pain, but the 2 visits to penny territory here without the thesis or the company really kind of changing gave you ample opportunity. And at that point, it was just patience. Now we are milking this. So we are talking about trimming into these upside moves, just like you said with the last stock here. We're going to milk this for all it's worth.
But the funny thing is, listen, there's lots of ways to go about this. You could have like, it could be a hedge fund or a mutual fund, and you could be accumulating this cup and handle, or you could say, hey, right here it turned on as a really good trade. If you never even knew it, said, oh, now it looks great. Or, hey, can I take out this? Then it looks great. And then it can hold that. And then it's been above the 8-day moving average the entire time. Awesome. Congratulations. What a great, I've heard about this name a lot of times, and I stayed away from it just because it wasn't mine. I feel like same way I don't want anyone else to do the 630 club. I didn't want to make this like my baby and this and that because I didn't bring it to the table. I could trade it here and there, but there was a lot of drone type names that I went with, that did well. Not quite this one, like you just mentioned, Archer, ACHR. That's been a great trade. I just trimmed it yesterday. We were buying it in here. UMAC was another like drone type name that did pretty well. Not as like yours, but there's been RDW. I still think, not a great trade, but a decent trade. So there's a lot of names out there. I'm actually in this name today that had some news. This LIDR.
Okay, sweet.
This is interesting. You had a big move on news from back in July. It just held this gap, went sideways. I started buying it in here, and now today there's some news on it. So I trimmed a little bit, but I'm going to hold it. So this is, up 16% this morning, up 45 cents is pretty nice.
Okay. Congrats. All right. I got another one that I want to ask you about. AppLovin, ticker APP. All right. This has been a huge mover. I was going to say you probably have all types of charting done on this, and sure enough, you sure do. We got news yesterday that they're under investigation by the SEC for data collection practices. That's why we're seeing the pullback here. But cutting through the noise and the nonsense on TV, what does the chart tell you?
Wow, it's already up 25 points.
That's right.
So maybe that there was over emotion yesterday, that people, sold first. So it's like sometimes you're innocent until proven guilty. This was guilty before being proven guilty, I guess. But, if you sold it here when it broke, 674, if you use the 8-day you should always use the 8-day for names like this because these are crazy. You didn't take the pain here. And now I would think that there'll be some resistance. If you look at the chart, probably right around here. This low is, this is 619. It's back to 610. I would think if you're looking to short a bounce, you should probably short into there or just leave it alone. I tend to stay away from these crazy names. I'm not a crazy trader. I'm not like a news-driven trader. I'm like everyone, like when Boeing looks good, I'm like, well, a door could blow off. Or when a bio looks great, I'm like, they can miss their FDA. This name already had a few short reports back here. I remember, this is when I was trading.
And they were money makers for our group, those short reports. We were adding on that. Those things went much higher.
Yeah, I don't, to me, it's, I have too much on my plate to be distracted by, news and curveballs. I like a nice little fastball that I could hit or something like that. But the curveballs or a slider, I just, I don't have the wherewithal. I'm already, taking too many pitches.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope you tell the Brewers to throw some more fastballs so my Cubbies can actually win a game here, but that's another story. We'll get to some other time here. Anything else you got on the docket here for today that you want to talk about?
Anything I have on the docket? I just say, like, listen, yesterday I was a little annoyed. Just, all day long, I had the TV on in the background, a little low, and all day, every headline is just about the AI bubble. The AI bubble. Mm-hmm. Is this 1999? Is this 1998? It's like it's deafening. Like, and I feel bad for those that are inexperienced out there because it's kept them away from names. It's kept them short some names. And again, if you use moving averages, it'll tell you. Like, we'll know when this sequence ends. Like the SPYs, since this double bottom breakout here, I usually have all my old lines in, since the higher low or since it held the 21-day, since April 30th, the SPYs have not been below the 21-day for more than a day. Tested it here, Red Dog Reversal, went below it for a day, then filled the gap. Tested it here, then filled the gap. Like at some point, it's going to get below the 8 and the 21-day. You're going to reduce your positions. It's going to stay below. You're going to see things not bounce. You're going to see feeble bounces. You're going to see leaders start heading down, and it'll tell you, hey, now you got to be careful. Now you have to be a little bit more net short. Now you have to be maybe tactical versus portfolio approach. But until then, again, if you're missing out on things, if you're not prepared, you're missing out on things if you're not going with what's moving. And these the type of sequences in the market only happen. The last time this happened was like 2020 to 2021, where traders made a lot of money before the top in 2021 into the bear market of 2022. So maybe 2026 will have a bear market, maybe, but when it happens and how it happens, we'll figure it out versus, hey, this isn't going to end well, because that's not a trading strategy.
I absolutely love that. I am so glad you talked about that. Literally 15 minutes before you got on here, I shared a tweet from someone I'm willing to bet that you know this person too. This is JC Peretz, tweeted the copy of Newsweek magazine from October of 1998, where it was hyping the crash, very much like what people are doing now. And guess what? The top didn't come for 17 months after this article.
Ooh,
17 months, Red Dog.
17 months. And who knows if you were short, if you stayed solvent for those 17 months until it finally triggered and went. You can have a thought thesis, but until the market actually confirms it, you better freaking have you with deep pockets and a brain on you, because it could drive you crazy. If I'm short for more than a day and I'm wrong, I freaking lose my mind, let alone, multiple weeks and months.
I'm with you on that. Okay, really good stuff here, Red Dog. Appreciate it. Did have one question here. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? I saw a comment earlier asking if you were still in a position. I wanted to ask that, but I don't see it anymore. Sorry about that. No, here we go. Tom, is Red Dog still holding IFRX?
IFRX. I don't even remember that one.
I was going to say, I don't recall that one from your list of power plays either, but I think you meant IREN, because that's the one he's been talking about, but just figured I'd ask.
Well, I don't own it, but if you did own it, I would say you could be long versus 126 as long as that holds. Looks pretty good on the chart here. Even if you're more active, 143, and then in order for this to get going, it's looks good. It's a small name. You have to know what it's about and what it's doing and what the news flow is, because that's what you need to know. But it's been acting better. You had a big up move with some power. Held higher, looks something that is worthy. I wouldn't over focus and make a career out of it, but if you have 15, 20 positions, I could see why this would be one of them.
Okay. Last one here. I promise I'll get you out on this. You can be as quick as you want here. How about TTD? This is one that you and I have talked about before. You've made a killing on this in the past. Has the stock bottomed? What does the chart tell you?
Looks like a pain in the ass, to tell you the truth.
Yes, it does.
It's like it's a hard. This is horrible. Just gap down, come back up, gap down. Like, I don't know. I think it's too much trouble. If you needed to be in it, I would say, hey, if you think there's a gap fill here, you think it's going to be a broken bounce to the 200-day, just go out a month and buy some options, buy some like $60 calls and not think about it. If it happens to trade into this gap here. If it gets above this pivot, which is, just say 57, maybe there's a squeeze, but looks to me like it's a love it and leave it trade. If you're hyper focusing on this name, you've missed out way too many easier names.
Okay. All right, Red Dog, really good stuff. As always, really appreciate all of the insight here, and we're going to keep trying to make the world a better place, one person at a time. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, man, and if you're a hockey fan, enjoy today, because it's going to be a good one.
All right, who am I rooting for?
Whoever you want. I thought probably the Rangers or the Devils were your team. I'm a Hawks fan, but you can root for.
I'm not really a hockey guy, but I'll root for the Rangers with you.
Okay. All right. Works. Red Dog, really good stuff. We'll catch up with you next time. Thanks for your time here today.
My pleasure. Good seeing you.
All right, that is Red Dog from the T3 guys. Folks, get Scott's free ebook. See how he adds all of these different option trades to his portfolio. He's stunning gains here. Let me go ahead and throw the link in the chat for any of you that want to join that. We get time from him and all of the other T3 guys, and I swear they always seem to have something for us, and that is the case again. Really, really good stuff. We actually kept him a little bit longer than I normally do here today, and that went pretty well. Good stuff there. Red Dog's departure leaves room for 13. Let's check in with good old 13 here. How you doing here on this Tuesday morning, boss?
Well, good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing this morning?
Man, we are doing really, really good. Another day, another dollar. Blessed to be alive here, feeling good, ready to go. The one thing, I do have one little bone to pick. Okay. Man, oh man, I had another parlay dub coming last night. Another parlay dub, and Travis Etienne, I have every leg filled. every single leg filled. And then Travis Etienne, the second to last drive, takes a screen pass for -3 yards, drops 2 yards under the target, never sees the ball again for the rest of the game. And I end up losing my parlay. That was a 13x parlay that I was about to grab. Oh, but
other than that,
I'm doing really good.
That's a good game yesterday.
It sure was. And no offense to Chiefs fans out there. Actually, I don't really care. It was very, very great to see them lose. I will keep rooting for that.
They don't look good. They don't look.
No, not the same.
No,
not the same. They used to win a whole bunch of close games, and it doesn't appear that they're doing that now. All right, 13. Let me go ahead and refresh my platform here. Do you want to start with some of the movers? Let me make sure that the movers tool is working here.
I'm getting some input feed problems this morning, but I did go through some of these. So
okay, yeah, and it was working for me earlier too. So I think that might just be kind of a the movers is on and off. It's been reported. Okay, so I have a screenshot of the movers to show the doc today. Okay, so looks like let me go back to my actual chart here. Do we have chart issues out now too? You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, like I was saying, some of these inputs are having an issue. So.
Okay, I'm going to go to TradingView. I'm going to at least get you a chart here, and I will figure out what the heck is going on. What was the first one that you have?
GLTO.
The one that's up several 100% here today.
Oh, man, if you think this is stupid, it's going to get stupider.
That's okay. That's some foreshadowing right there for you. Let me go ahead and here's your 5-minute chart. What is going on here?
So nothing. No news. No news that's going on with this one that I can see. This is just getting pushed up here. And this is a company that, I did have all the information up here in a second. It's a biotech. I don't know I didn't look to see what kind of drugs they're working on because we didn't have any news on that. It just kind of running on its own, but they're trying to treat mild fibrosis. So I could have looked into if they're close on anything, but I didn't think that there was anything going on here today. They have like a really small float, so I think that's probably the reason it's moving. It's just that it's been chosen and it got hit. So this has 2 to 3 quarters of cash, so I don't think that there's really a capital raise coming, even though they're going to have to do one eventually. But what's happening here on the chart that I found interesting is that there's a big gap fill that's coming that could effectively double, I think, the price of the stock. Let me just get to it real quick. So back from August of 2023, there was a really large fall that happened that took the price from in the 50s down to the teens. So I think because we're in that gap fill right now, and that gap fills all the way up at $57. So it's more than a 2x from here. And if we do get that gap fill, well, then we'll be doing pretty well. But I don't know that this is going to fill. It's just something that could potentially happen. But I don't. It's a low float stock that's getting pushed around. Certainly, it could fill if it gets pushed around enough, and it could be the SPRB today. Even though that one's going to already making some ridiculous moves too. So I don't know where this party ends, but I think that gap fill is something we should really be paying attention to.
After SPRB yesterday and the crazy stuff that we saw, when you said it's about to get stupider, I was like, I told myself, I said, okay, Ryan, take a deep breath here and try and not freak out from what we're about to see. Looking at this, where we are, the gap, the craziness that we've seen here, the craziness of the overall market. I mean, I have no idea what to expect here today, but this is absolutely going to be in play. And I would be entirely unsurprised if some of your crazy levels ended up getting hit from this. I mean, just crazy.
Well, as Dara pointed out, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Yeah, it did get up to 36.25 this morning. So we could certainly come back up there again. Just having a hard time with the 29.30 area. So not quite getting up there yet. And as long as we hold above VWAP, still a chance we could see that gap fill. So that's what I'd be looking at here today. I don't know what's driving this, but it's reported no news. So unless there's some insider information that they know that a clinical trial is meeting their endpoints and they're going to announce it soon, I can only speculate as to what this is.
I checked when I first woke up here today. No news. I didn't see much on Twitter. 1.2 million, 1.27 million shares in the float. 6.5% of the float shorted there. Average volume is right at 1 million. Today we've traded just shy of 13 million. Probably more than that now, given what's going on. But okay, really good stuff there. GTLO. The next one that we had here was going to be TMQ. I see a number of people asking about this as well. This and NAC. We kind of talked about NAC yesterday, didn't we?
Yep.
So this is kind of related. So I would say this, 13. We can go to both of these stocks. We can talk about both of them. The news that's reported here for this affects both stocks. We can take a look at the charts. Let's set up both charts for this if you want. Real quick here. This was reported yesterday in the after hours. Trilogy Metals supports Trump administration's green light for the Ambler Road project, unlocking one of America's richest copper-dominant mining districts. Again, this is also going to affect ticker NAK or NAC. Here's what the daily chart looks like. If we look inside at the 5-minute, you can see exactly what this thing has done. Huge move in the after hours. We actually have higher lows if we take a look at the extended sessions as a whole here, as well as higher highs here. Looks like the high was just about in the 750s here. Pulled back a little bit. What are you thinking here on both TMQ and NAC?
I would like to see one more move up towards this. Well, you have a bit of a trend line here for TMQ. Ever since we had that impulse move shortly after the market closed, remember we were all watching that happen.
Oh yeah.
And then we got another higher move later on in the after hours. So that's kind of given us a little bit of a trend line that we can use to identify where the next resistance might be if we get beyond 759 here, which is the high from this morning. So if you draw it from the start of, there you go. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at here, but we have to hold up VWAP, and we're coming right down to test it right now. So if we lose that, then we have the 65 EMA as the next support, but it's going to make it a little bit harder to trust that the stock's going to, the price is going to reach that trend line again. So if we start to lose the VWAP as we approach the open, I think I just wait and see what the open's going to give us before we try to trade this or take a position. Okay,
we want to take a look at NAC now.
Sure, even though I don't think that this is going to impact NAC as much as it's going to impact TMQ.
Okay.
NAC still has to deal with the EPA veto, but I do think that this is a hint, a step in the direction that it's going to get dealt with because of this Ambler Road project. But it's still got some hurdles to get over. And the thing that has to happen next with NAC, since they filed that summary judgment brief that we found out about yesterday, is the government has until January 2nd to respond to that. And they've also filed a request to the Alaska federal court to stay the case while the government is shut down, which is not something you want to have happen if you're NAC or a NAC shareholder, and NAC's objected against that. So that's currently where they're at right now. They need to get that EPA veto lifted, and the summary judgment brief is kind of their way of attacking that. But right now it's up to whether or not the court is going to stay the case while the government is shut down.
Okay, good stuff there. It does look like we are back in action here. So fingers crossed. We'll see. The next one I had on the list here is actually going to be.
I wanted to mention something about TMQ. If you look,
go ahead.
If you look at a larger chart, and not a large enough chart, you can see that it had a really nice rounding double bottom. Let's go to a monthly. Monthly. There you go. That's beautiful. That's like a big W-shaped recovery almost.
I was going to say this almost looks like this. Okay, we won't even go there. But double bottom there, rounding, nice. We'll see what happens here. TMQ, big time.
And then look at that breakout over 3. Fantastic.
Man, oh man. Really, really good stuff there. Okay, let's talk about ZNB here. Next, this is Zeta Network Group. This did pop as high as $9, has really kind of come back in. Good news here is that we're actually sitting above the VWAP. Zeta Network Group enters a strategic partnership with Solve Foundation to advance the Bitcoin-centric finance. Now, this is, I took a peek at this earlier. I took a peek at this PR. This is not Bitcoin liquid staking and institutional grade structured finance platform with 2.5 billion in TVL. So this is not the same type of treasury thing that we've seen here, but nonetheless, this piece of news here popping the stock by 200%. Quick look around the horn at some of the stats on this one. I'm just waiting.
Okay.
No, I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm trying to like build the anticipation here for the short interest. Doesn't look like that's going to go well for me. We do have short percent of float, about 23.3%. And that comes on an average volume of 9.5 million. Today, we were just shy of 100 million. Float on this is 1 million. What do you think here on this one?
I didn't have time to cover this one. And so don't have a whole. Okay, there we go. Now some of the metrics coming up. So it could be. There's news on it? Oh yeah. Okay. So it's the Bitcoin centric digital finance.
Yeah.
That with the low float, that's helping it get an easy lift. Let me pull this up in my broker, see what I can see here from that. Let me look at the financials. I really didn't cover this one, so I really don't know enough about it. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot to draw on since this is kind of a new issue. This is back from August when this came about, right? And what was it? Was this a SPAC? Like, I don't know what this was before, or if this is just a completely new company or what. I really don't have any opinion on this. So sorry, I can't provide more. This thing ran up to 916 this morning. If we can get back above VWAP and recapture 550, then we can talk about this getting back to some of these other levels from this morning. But I don't have a whole lot to add to this one, unfortunately.
Okay, well, that's okay. Our chat seems to be all over the place. Day trader here, ZNB company bio is sketchy AF. I can read that here for you if you want to. Tennis is saying ZNB is a pump and dump. Lion Atlas saying ZNB looks good. Okay. So we got people on both sides of it here with ZNB. We'll see which one we do. I have trading history back 10 years on Thinkorswim for ZNB. That's from Day Trader here. Entertainment technology company with a network that focuses on the applications of technology and artificial intelligence in the entertainment industry. They literally, that is like, I'm like short circuiting here. You're absolutely right. That is sketchy AF, Day Trader. Really good call there. Nonetheless, we'll see how ZNB trades here today. Okay, how much time do we have? 19 minutes, 13. I'm going to talk about COCH here real quick, but I'm going to go off. So just give me a little bit because I'm going to tie a lesson in how you and everyone else can actually use Pro to benefit from the PR that we saw here on COCH. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Envoy Medical, ticker COCH. This thing popped as high as 271. It's come back in and it's battling with its VWAP. It's doing a lot about what we see, or it's doing what a lot of these movers see. But this, folks, this is where the rubber meets the road. You could have made an absolute killing on this if you were a Benzinga customer. Why? Because Benzinga did an exclusive on COCH today, and they brought you the news 15 minutes prior to the PR. You might be saying, well, Ryan, what is that? Why is that important? Why is that important? I'll show you. Because we got the news right here. And this thing popped to about $1, popped a little bit more to like 112, came back in a little bit. And then when we got the actual PR, let's go back here and take a look at the news there. When we got the actual PR here at 8 o'clock in the morning, look where the big candle is. 8 o'clock in the morning. You had 15 minutes where you could have bought as much of this as you wanted. And as soon as that news came out to the general public, it went kaboom. It went kaboom. You don't even really have to hold it for the entire day. I understand that this pulled back and then it reclaimed the VWAP, and now we're going to set up for some more trades here potentially throughout the course of the day. We'll see. I'm going to get to 13 here real quick for the chart. But I'm just saying there was a 15-minute period where if you were awake, if you had your coffee and you were paying attention and you were a Benzinga Pro customer, you could have loaded the boat on this and you could have been the one selling into the impulse move when that news came. Just these exclusive news pieces, they don't all do this, but man, oh man, when they hit, they go big. And again, it's the Benzinga ecosystem. We did it as an exclusive. You are the only people that have access to that news. We don't get news before it is made public like that very often, but when we do, the opportunity is there, and you saw that here on COCH. If we take a look here at the news itself, I guess I should read what the actual news is here. Envoy Medical tells Benzinga it received FDA approval to expand its clinical trial for the fully implemented Acclaim cochlear implant to the final stage based on 3-month data from its first 10 patents. They also go on to say here that they're going to expect to complete full employment by early Q1 of 2026, and it's moving up its timeline to 3 to 6 months, cutting an anticipated capital need by 10 to 15 million. So they're actually going to save money and be ahead of schedule here. That's what the piece of news is on this. Quick look at the short interest on this one. 1.63% of the float shorted there with 2.18 days to cover. That comes on a pretty paltry average volume of 325,000 shares today, or per day. Today, we've traded just shy of 60 million, 58.3 million there. Float on this is 13.2 million. 13, what do you think here on ticker COCH?
Well, it's great about they're not needing as much cash, but they're still going to need cash one way or the other. Now, they just recently completed a 2.5 million registered direct offering at the market, priced at the market. So they have raised capital recently. I don't think they'll be raising anytime soon. But I think they still will in the future. Just can't say when. It just depends on how quickly they burn through it with this next, this next clinical trial. So this is I didn't look to see if this was in the beginning of the phase 3 trial. I think it is. They're going to be doing enrollment being finished, but with enrollment by the beginning of the Q1 of next year. So I think they will have to raise cash at some point. Just that they have enough right now, but it's not enough to get through the entire phase 3 trial. So I would expect more capital raises from this one. This is going to be, if anything, just a day trade, and then I'd wait because I don't think there's probably not going to be any other news coming for a little while. That's going to really move this. Looking at the chart, we lost VWAP about 15 minutes ago, and the momentum has kind of swung to the downside. I think this is, I think 150 is going to be the next support area, and I'm not feeling great about that. But you do have a bit of a trend line here. I'm sure you see it. So if we do get some support or a lift here, or a buyer start to step in, this is the trend line I'd be looking to break. That's going to probably help the stock go on to recapture VWAP if it doesn't happen first. So that's what I'd be looking at with this. I don't think this is a good looking one right now. But I'd be curious to see what happens in the once we get into the regular session.
Okay, really good stuff there. Good looking now doesn't necessarily mean it won't be good looking in 15 minutes when we check on it. So really good stuff there. Okay, real quick here, X Sniper saying, Ryan, how do I join Happy Hour chat? Well, 2 things. Again, anything Happy Hour related, you need to have an active subscription to Benzinga Pro. So if you do not have that, you are not going to be able to access it. However, if you do have a subscription to Benzinga Pro, you can click the chat icon, which is up here in the upper right corner. In fact, let me try and make this a little bit easier for you to see. I'm going to turn the banner off. That's not even going to do it. It has to do with the share. Anyway, upper right corner, there's a little message icon, and when you click on that, you can open up the side chat. And from the side chat, you can actually select the Happy Hour chat room from the dropdown. 13 is a moderator. Here's the recap of yesterday's session that 13 diligently provides on a regular basis. And if you want to join the call, about 20 minutes prior to the end of the market session, you'll see a pop-up at the bottom of your screen. It's a blue teal, and it will have a link to join the Happy Hour Zoom call. Again, you must be a Benzinga Pro subscriber in order to get that. Okay, hope that answers your question, X Sniper. You can always shoot me an email, and I can help you with it further from there. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one here. ULY, is that one? Looks like I have another chart issue here. So, did it come back? Nope. Okay, let's take a look here at ULY. Urgently. Wow, so we had a huge spike here. I actually didn't check the news on this one. Thank you, producer. Urgently partners with Sony Honda Mobility of America to deliver nationwide roadside assistance for Afila drivers. I don't know what any of that stuff is. I am impressed with the move here. Looks like we went to about 881, pulling back off that spot now. Here's your I've got the VWAP here at about 607. So we'll see if it gets any type of support from VWAP. Let me see if we've got anything else on this. Do you have anything here on the chart, 13?
AFEELA is Advanced Driver Assistance System. That is, it's basically their EV mobility LiDAR system. And it has like, okay, so it's like a combination of different systems like LiDAR cameras. I think that's what they're referring to here, but it's for their EVs. And this is supposed to be roadside assistance for those types of specific types of EVs. So I don't know how big of an addressable market that is. It seems like it would be small to me, but well, we're still getting some pretty good movement out of this. So let's see what the chart tells us. So right now we just lost VWAP trying to recapture that. This on a float of, I have 1.26 million. Where is this going to go?
Yeah, and real quick, so speaking of the float there, I actually have 6% of the float shorted here, 5.95% with 1 day to cover there. I have the float here of 1.27 million, FYI.
We have a EMA, a daily EMA that's at 691. That probably is the next area of resistance I'd be looking at.
Okay.
Beyond that, and there's like the 65 week EMA that we could look at after that. But as we get it to the $10, $10.50 area, there's a lot of kind of topping out from the past times this has run. So I think this area that we're in here from about, like 9 to 10.50, lots of question marks for me, because there's a lot. It seems like there's still a lot of sellers up there. So until we have enough volume to get through all these sellers that have hit this stock, let's see, it hit it back in October of 24, and then February of this year, May of this year, and July of this year, all keeping that the price down from going higher or closing higher. So I think in that area, right at about 10 to 10.50, it's going to provide some pretty ugly resistance, but we'll see how much volume we get during that time.
Okay. Real good stuff there. ULY. 13, did you have anything else on your list? Did you want to take a look at SPRB or anything like that?
Sure. Sure. We'll look at this.
Hey, you don't seem thrilled about that. Oh, here we go.
It's because it's hilarious, because I don't know if I said it yesterday, but it wouldn't surprise me if this went to 220. I think I said that yesterday in happy hour. And we ended up getting, let's see here, where did this end up going? So it went to 170, but we went to 220, over 220 this morning. So hit that target. The next one that I'd be looking at after that is going to be 400. And it's a stupid level, just so you know.
Okay.
It's a stupid level, but if this continues to do the same thing it did yesterday, I would say maybe 400 is the really dumb level we have to watch out for.
Okay. We'll see what we get. Day trader said, you said 50 here. We are way past the $50 level that we had talked about. We'll see.
Yeah, it went way past 220, but 220 was the level I was looking for yesterday, and we went way past that.
Yeah, and Day Trader said it hit 358 in toss in the AM. I have that here on TradingView too. Just crazy stuff. 358.97.
Oh, did it actually go to 400 this morning?
No, I have the high print there at 358.97. I mean, that's pretty close.
Okay, I have 383.99 as my high print.
Oh man, I mean, look, this stuff is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Okay.
I didn't catch that, so thanks for pointing that out, because I was just looking at these EMAs. That's the next one that I see.
All right.
Anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have anything else on your list here for today? I don't think I did either. I don't think I have any other movers here. Otherwise, we can just talk. I guess BJDX here. This is Blue Jay Diagnostics. This did pop here, peaked above 3, came back in. We're actually beneath the VWAP here on this one. Looks like this is moving here on a leadership change on its board of directors. Donald R. Chase is the chairperson. This is news from August 17th. This is the most recent news. It's not even current right now. I think this one's kind of a pump and dump too.
It might be,
or it looks like that.
Yeah, this one went up to 306 this morning, came back in, lost VWAP, has not been able to recapture VWAP since, despite the attempt that happened, looks like about 24 minutes ago. So now it's caught between the 65 EMA and on the 5-minute chart and the VWAP. So really it's just a matter, I think, of which one breaks first. Break that 65, we're going down. If we break that VWAP, we're probably going to go on a little bit of a run. Maybe I think after we break VWAP, 235 is the level I think we need to get past. And I don't know how high this goes. It just really depends on the volume, but those are the two areas I see for support and resistance: the 65 EMA as support and the VWAP as resistance.
Okay, really good stuff there. All right, the other one, this is actually one that Red Dog mentioned earlier. We might as well take a look at this. This is LIDAR, ticker LIDR. Stock is up 16.5% here today. Actually looks like 340 is a pretty decent resistance area, and so far holding the VWAP here at 327. If we take a look at the news here, this from October 7th here, AI has begun shipments of Apollo to a global defense contractor for use in manned and unmanned aerial vehicles. So I'm guessing by not having it in the headline here, we probably don't have any numbers in this. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have any numbers on this, but pretty good nonetheless here. This is popping LIDAR here. Real quick look around the horn on this one. 9.74% of the float traded with 1.12 days to cover. Comes on an average volume of 18.4 million. Today we've traded 7.4 million. Float here a little bit thicker, just shy of 39 million. What do you think here on ticker LIDR?
There's another trend line here, and I have a larger trend line that it's trying to get back over. This goes back to some of the, using some of the peaks back in January this year and May of last year. That trend line we kind of broke through back in August, but we came right back beneath it. So we're trying to get back above that same trend line again. That's where the price is currently at. And if we do get above it, I think that we could see that 350 printed, maybe even $4 today if we manage to get through this trend line here. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. For this one, I don't know exactly how high this is going to go. If we're going to see that 644 again that we saw back in July, but I think it looks to me like $4 is certainly possible, somewhere between 4 to 425. Okay.
All right, really good stuff there. All right, that does it for the movers here. Real quickly, screaming about Apple. No, if you're going to yell and scream and spam, we're just going to move on and not check it. So I'm going to go check something else. Someone that asked politely here, Rain is saying, Ryan and 13, please discuss the chart for PayPal if you have a chance. This is a pretty interesting one. And 13, I'd love to get your charting opinion on this. I'll tell you what, man. To me, there's going to be a big trade here in PayPal at some point. I'm familiar with the product. I like the product. Is today the day, I guess, is my question here. PayPal up 4.7%. You can see on the daily chart what this does. This 75 area has been a key area that we really need to get over. And it looks like we are testing that. The stock is 74.69 here in the pre-market. The move today takes us above the 200 and the 100. My question here is, can we bust through the 75? If we do, I've got the next resistance here at 80. This is from the recent high, but this also goes back to February of this year. And not far above that, we have a gap here that starts at 82.5 that fills up at 86.5-ish. So these are some of the targets that I'd be looking at for PayPal. I tried this not long ago. It didn't work. The trade didn't work. Is this going to work here today? PayPal Holdings shares are trading higher following reports suggesting that the CEO announced UPI as the first PayPal world partner and that its platform will connect digital wallets. Also, the company announced PayPal Ads Manager. So that's what's going on here with PayPal. 13, do you have any thoughts on this chart or the company at all?
$75 is going to be resistance, and the 200-day SMA is going to be support. And I think that's about the best I've got. It still looks like we could go through 75. We're not completely extended here on the daily chart. We could still push up higher. As a matter of fact, we're in the middle of a gap fill right now at this current price, and that gap fill is from July this year. Do you see it? You have a bunch of spaghetti in the way, and I just
right here.
Yeah. So that's something I would kind of target that gap fill. So if you look at July 28th,
okay,
the closing price for that was 78.22. That seems like a potential area where the price could run to today or tomorrow. But we need to get through that $75 resistance area. So I would say that if we do manage to get above that, I'd be targeting the completion of that gap fill.
Okay, and this is great. This is great. Lion here saying PayPal's been building that support. Indeed, it's really just been kind of trading sideways. It's actually really been using the 500-day as support for some time now. But it's kind of been dead money. I'm wondering if that changes here. Lion here saying, I think PayPal has big room to run up. So do I. Is this going to be the catalyst here? And David saying PayPal's options positioning suggests 75 to 80 on this move. Perfect. All right, let me flip over to the main workspace. I'm going to pull up whatever stock you want me to pull up, and I've got to go to the washroom real quick. So let me actually, GLTO, right? Galecto, the big runner. I'll leave that one on the screen here.
All right.
Okay, BRB, 1 second.
Sounds good. All right, so GLTO out of the gate, a little weak, but getting some support here. Maybe this starts to go. That's that one right now. And after it's had, let's see, it did lose that, or once it had that drop start, it really did go into a bit of a downward momentum for some time. So if we turn around here, that'd be some welcome news, and it'd be a good time to turn around as well. If we do get this turnaround, looking for move up to 28.50 at the least. TMQ, that had a pop up to 798 out of the gate here. It's come back in a little bit underneath VWAP, but I'm still looking for this thing to get back up into the 9s. So we'll see what we end up getting with that. ZNB, this is pushing here, trying to turn around. Still have some resistance up at the 550 area that we're approaching. We'll see if we get through that. ULY, they need to put a G in here because this thing is looking kind of ugly. But it's halted to the downside right now. We'll see if this gets support out of the halt. If there is going to be any, it looks like 420 to 425 might be the area where it gets support. If it doesn't get it, about 475 out of the halt here. So that's what I'd be looking at here. You do have the 65 EMA beneath that level as the next area of support. But so far, this isn't looking great to me. Meanwhile, NAK, this is selling at the open here, coming down, losing the 65 EMA and VWAP right now. We'll see if there's support that can kick in and help lift this back up. Thoughts on AEHR? As soon as Ryan gets back, we'll take a look at that. What else do we have?
You rang.
So ULY is looking ULGY or UGLY.
I like what you tried to do there.
Yeah, I totally messed up spelling there. But anyway, this one halted to the downside. We got a request to look at AEHR.
Okay.
So we'll take a look at that. This one actually, so this one had a big old 21% drop this morning. I don't know if there's news on this. Looks like.
I would think there's got to be, huh?
Looks
like this happened in the after hours yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like they had earnings yesterday, and the guidance wasn't great. We remain cautious due to ongoing tariff-related uncertainty and not yet reinstating formal guidance. So they did not have guidance, and that's pulling this down. And we are down to the 50-day SMA and losing it. This is not looking good. The next support that I see is going to be at about 2240 to 2250. That's about $1.50, $2 away. And then if we continue lower, there's a gap that could be filled to the downside starting at 21. So right now, AEHR, they just had earnings. They didn't provide guidance. Chart also showing a bit of a double top here prior to losing the 20-day SMA. This is not looking too great right now, but this isn't, it's not going to go to zero or anything. But those are just some of the levels that I see that for support. So we'll say 2250, that area, okay. 21, and then 18. Those would be the next downside support areas I see. Hopefully they all don't get chewed up.
Okay.
SPRB is halted. Oh, where's it going now? Oh, to the downside. All right. So it's coming back to reality.
GLTO, is this halted too? Yes. This halted 26.21. This is actually above the VWAP. This looks like this might curl towards 35 out of the halt. We'll have to wait and see.
Look at NAK. It's recovered the 65 EMA and VWAP. So shaking out some of the weak hands, it looks like at the start here. Now let's see if this can get enough momentum to come back up and recapture 2. TMQ, on the other hand, not able to go any higher than 798. That's still having some trouble turning around here.
This NAC pull looks like this is getting bought so far.
Looks like COCH, the cochlear implant company, that's trying to break out of the trend line here.
Actually trying to break VWAP right now. So this right at a resistance area here. Here, you know what? Let me add that trend line here too, because these things might be lining up pretty good, 13. Look at that. UU
is getting mentioned here. Data Vault.
That's DVLT.
Yep. That one's still moving apparently.
And this is one that we discussed yesterday in happy hour. There's a happy hour member that said that there was some more room on this. Congrats to that call.
Yeah, I don't know how much more room. I've got concerns about this one, but if this is going to continue to move, it could go all the way up to 530, I would say.
Okay, it looks like we're going to need a decision here pretty soon on this one.
Yep. Okay. So did this unhalt? Doesn't look like ULY unhalted yet.
VLT, CISS. What was the other one? COCH. That was that Envoy Medical. Looks like this is trying to break. 187 looks to be the key spot. I think if it probably breaks that, it probably pops.
Orbs still moving higher. It's up 10% today. That's the 8Co holdings.
Yeah, that's Dan Ives's joint.
Mm-hmm.
COCH tried, did not have the strength to do it yet. We'll see.
There's a large seller in the way up at just above 190, 192. So going to need to see this volume expand here.
Yep. Looking good, though. I'm actually kind of watching this here on the level 2. It looks like there's a lot of back and forth here. Mm-hmm. And even when the flood of sellers comes in, they bring in buyers there. We'll see if this can pop. At 189 looks to be the spot now. 187, 189.
Okay, so there's that. We are getting asked about AMD. And what's nice about AMD is that we didn't get a continuation of that downside despite a very bearish looking candle yesterday after we got that big news about, well, what amounts to essentially just the same money getting passed around. This is starting off with an inside candle. We'll see if this how we end up closing with this today. But if we kind of close with an inside candle like this, I think that's a really good sign that this could come back up to 227 for another test.
Okay.
Something to watch for with AMD. We'll see what we end up getting here. It's very early in the day. I don't want to make any predictions about how we're going to close yet. So I think let's see what we end up getting with today with AMD.
Okay. So would you be looking for maybe like a short-term swing long if this was able to maybe test and break that spot? What was it?
So if this ends up,
if
this ends up being an inside candle, then I think over the next couple of days we could see some more upside as it tries to recover. And if it gets up to that 227, there could be a breakout. So just something to watch for if we end up with an inside candle today.
Okay. But that's good. That gives us that at least gives us something to monitor here throughout the course of the day. So I'll take that.
Yep.
All right. What else we got?
Well, just kind of waiting for some of these names to make their moves. Looked like some of the names from yesterday still active. On MD, OneMed.
That's ONMD. Someone was asking about Troutbum was asking about that.
That tried to push up to the 285 resistance that I have here. Got as high as 279. Not liking the way these upper shadows are looking right now, and the volume probably could be better, but it's still trading above VWAP for the moment. 285 is going to be the next resistance area, so that would be. And this is great too because we were talking yesterday about getting up to 220, and then after that 285 is the next big resistance area. And I think we almost we actually ended up hitting that later on in the afternoon. How about that?
Yeah, we sure did.
It came back in the afternoon just like we said it could. So that went on to go up to 367. I I don't know.
Actually gave a pretty good trade too at that 285 spot because it back tested it pretty nice, which is always good to see. Okay, good stuff there.
Yep. So
think we get it again.
We'll see. You see how today we're getting like a lot of resistance up at that 285 area.
Yeah.
I think we need to see some better volume, and if we do get the better volume, then we look for that 285 break again. It's going to take us up to 320.
Okay, Kathy here mentioning CISS. That did go through the VWAP. Good mention there, Kath. I know I put this up on the screen briefly, but then went away from it. Here we go. 4 looks to be the next spot here, then 450 after that.
There's a trend line. See it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're talking about this one right here. Yep.
Broke that. Next resistance is going to be back up at that 4 area where we rejected earlier this morning.
That's right. 4 and 450 looks to be the next spots there. CISS. Good stuff, Kath. Where was the entry for this one, Kathy? Was this on a pre-market high break 330s? Just wondering. GLTO. Is this open? Okay.
It's open. It's trying to push higher. Looking for that 29 print. And it's about there. There it is. Just tapped it, I think. 29 exactly. Yep.
Yep. I've got that.
Going through. Don't know where the next resistance is, but it seems to me like 33 could be it. Gosh, we'll see if we get that. It's probably going to halt prior to that, though. This thing is really moving.
Yeah, this thing's already up $1 from that. And this halted at, what was the last price here? Like 26 and change, right? So I think we're pretty much due here. Let me actually bring this up. Is it going to?
It just halted.
It halted again here. 29.87. Okay. Yep. Top end of that pre-market range now. 35 looks to be the next spot there.
Really good stuff.
Right. So,
whoops. All right.
EMQ.
A little bit of rejection here with the cochlear implant company.
Is that COCH that we were looking? Yep. We took that off. Did that get through that 289?
No, it's still trying to deal with it.
But it's still holding here. So I don't think that this has necessarily changed yet.
ULY is open. It's trying to catch a bid. I'm not sure that we're going to see the upside quite yet. It seems like closer to $4 or 4 to 4.25. I think is going to be a better support area, but it's certainly trying. It has a seller in the way at 5. If it gets through that, maybe we are turning around here. But I'm not sure about that one. ZNB. This is another one that we looked at this morning, coming down to the 65 EMA. That's the area where I think this is going to need to get support, because if it doesn't, then we're pretty much coming down to 260, I think.
Marcus saying there goes COCH. So I really want to see what 186, 189. That's been the area that's really stopping it. If we can get through this, maybe this does launch towards 2. We have a pretty good pre-market range from this already.
And there's still a large seller in the way in the 190s, 190 to 192. Lots of big sell orders. Got to get through that. We still need to see a bigger expansion of volume.
Yeah.
Or a big order just come in and take out all those,
Yeah, they're bringing it down a little bit here. We would say we would not want this to necessarily break down past 162, I would guess. Right? That probably puts 150 on deck there.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of looking at the trend line here. I mean, it really needs to get above this now at this point.
Yeah. I would say that 160 does look like that's a spot that needs to hold up. But I think the support lower is going to be around 130 if we do lose that area.
Okay. All right. No bueno if that happens. What else we got here?
Kind of looking around. There's, all the really good ones for the moment seem like they're halted. But ONMD, we're back up here trying to push up to that 285 area.
Here's ONMD. Mm-hmm. CISS getting mentioned here again. That one was already kind of working. Let's see if this works. God, man, that's right through the trend line. I think this is what we were waiting for there on COCH.
And it back tested it, and it also got to that $4 area. Now we need to hold above this $4 area. If we get that, 450 is next. That's the high of the pre-market. Was this pre-market? Yeah, high of the pre-market, and then we're off to. Gosh, where are we going after this? We're going back to. I have to adjust my chart because we're going back to some. I guess we'll call it a little bit of ancient level.
An ancient level. Okay. Okay. I see APPX here. That might mean that app is moving. Look at that. App looks like we're trying to close the gap here. It closes off at 668. Who's long app here?
5 is a big level for CISS. I don't know what's going to happen if we get through that, but that is a level that has some pretty good looking resistance. So that's what I'd be looking at next if we can hold above 4.
And that's CISS you had, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just waiting for GLTO to unhalt, and ULY still looking UGLY. I got it right that time.
I like that. I like that.
NAC.
Here's NAK.
Yep, I was just going to say NAC looks like that's trying to turn around here and recapture VWAP. It's currently holding above the 65 EMA. Need to get above that VWAP and go on to break over 210, which is the I think that's the pre-market high. We had the after hours high yesterday, take it up to 228. So that's also going to be a level. But first things first, let's get through the pre-market high of 210.
Okay. Producer mentioning NNE had some news right ahead of the open there.
Gap loving. That's a great.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Joe, bonus points there. 1 up for the gap loving. It does love its gaps, though.
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's come up and it's finding resistance at the 20-day SMA. That value at 638. Now, if it still has a hard time recapturing that, later this week, Wednesday or Thursday, still think we could turn around and go lower. Really need to get back above that moving average and go on to recapture 650.
Okay. Real quickly here, producer mentioned NNE. This is moving here out of the gate. This is on a piece of news here that Nano Nuclear is to establish operations in Illinois, secures a $6.8 million REV Illinois incentives to launch a $12 million R&D and manufacturing facility that will create 50 jobs. NNE's moving up on that back of that news.
If you look at a daily chart, I think this can give you a bit of a target to shoot for here, and we're almost there. You have to back out enough, and you'll see all the trend lines. Yeah, here it is. Sorry for the.
Oh, we're almost there, though. That's not bad, 13, even with the sound effect.
Well, you know what's funny is that this could totally extend right to that trend line and then reverse just like it has in the past. Look at the RSI for the daily. That's kind of why I like that area. We could hit that area and then just turn around and begin a bit of a downward move. NNE pushing up to 59 right now. I think that's something I'd be watching for here. That takes it up to, what is this, 62? It seems like. I think that it's about where it could run to, somewhere between 61 and 62. Could be the spot where it tops out today and then begins a decline for being so extended.
DVLT, this did break through that pre-market high. It looks like it's trying to go here. We're going to check some of the other ones. The COCH still battling with the trend line. GLTO apparently opened and then rehalted to the downside. Yep, right at VWAP too.
We popped up, went to 32, or just shy of 32. What is this print? 3170, so pretty close to 32. And then it came right back down to VWAP, as you said.
Joe here saying, Ondas just keeps going. Ryan, I'm in your debt for that one, buddy. You are not in my debt at all. You didn't borrow any money from me. You did it all on your own. I'm glad you're banking off of it, though.
So CISS getting mentioned, that has broken through the high, the 450 area that I mentioned, and now we're in a halt.
Let at this. Kathy, you hooked one. Let's go, Kath.
Let's see where we go next here. I think this is the one I was saying that $5 was... let me double check and see.
Yeah, I mean, it's 8 cents away from $5. So as far as I'm concerned, that's actually a pretty good trade already. And this is halted, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, halted up here.
So there's $5, and then could be some resistance at 6, but there's not a lot of consolidation, not a lot of supply until you get up to about 655, 660, and that supply kind of extends all the way through 8. So as soon as we get up to that level, could see a little bit of a slowdown in the price action, maybe even a reversal.
Okay. GLTO here. JJ, you were asking for the float here. We did have a float reading for this. 1.27 million on GLTO. GLTO.
Blaze Rhino says beer money for the horses. We probably should have a better conversation because that sounds fun. Tell me more about beer money for horses.
So COCH. So I know we're not like punching through this trend line on volume. We're kind of moving through it sideways, but maybe we're resolving on the other end of that trend line.
We need the volume to get to those levels. There's a lot of sellers up here, especially at that 190 area. So gotta see that volume really expand. ZNB, this went down to the 65 EMA, looking like it's trying to turn around. I want to see better volume out of this one as well. TMQ is now down at its 65 EMA. This has done nothing really but sell off following the pop up to 798. Looks like NAK could be turning around there. There's some bottoming here. It looks like it's happening. We need to get above the 65 EMA if it's going to recover. And I don't like the volume right now. So need to see some better volume in NAK as well.
Okay, here is your NAK chart. Corey says, Ryan, I got back into the game on DVLT and my base hit turned into stealing 2 more bases. I'm sitting on third waiting for Babe Ruth at bat. Sounds like you're in the catbird seat. To borrow one of Anne Marie's phrases there, that actually sounds like you're in a pretty good spot on all that.
NNE hit a high of 58.97 and now it's turning around. Is this trend? Is there a trend line here from yesterday? Oh, there certainly is. Wish I had seen that earlier. That would have been a great trade. So if you look a little to the left and see the price action of yesterday, start with the high from the morning at 9:55.
And then gotcha.
And draw it through the one at 3.
And we're just drawing a good old trend line here, right? We're just drawing this.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it went to. So,
look at that, dude.
I'm sorry I didn't catch that earlier this morning, but that would have been a really nice area to shoot for. Because, man, look at that. Went right to that trend line.
And Marie, I was just looking for an excuse to use catbird seat today. I mean, I think that was pretty clear.
Cochlear is losing altitude here, coming down to the towards the 65 EMA. Seems like all the good stuff has been halted today.
Yeah, this actually, man, oh man, look at this. That trend line has been great. This looks bad. This looks bad.
I wish it was the trend line looks bad, but the stock is great. Yeah. That would have been better.
I was going to say, I wish it gave us a little bit more there, but it is what it is.
It looks like someone's trying to walk this down right now. So we'll see if there's any recovery following, that seller, finishing.
Zach here saying, looks like the market is pulling right now. Indeed, SPY off the highs, NASDAQ kind of inside there, Dow near the lows here of the day.
Let's see. We did get a slightly higher all-time high, didn't we? Looks like we did.
Today out of the open, yes, I've got it at 673.10. But you know what? That might have happened in the pre-market. Let me bring up the SPY chart.
I got 672.99.
$672. Yep, I got that same thing here. So you're right on that, 13.
BJDX, Blue Jay Diagnostics. This is getting some love. Coming up to a resistance area, that 230, that was support previously in the pre-market. See some nice volume expansion here. Maybe this one continues to push up here. It is a large amount of sell orders from 245 to 250, so that could be some resistance in that area.
Okay.
Looks like GLTO is open and losing VWAP.
Yeah. Let me get back to it. Sorry, I'm going a little slow here.
Hey, no problem. There's a lot of stuff to look at today.
And you guys are talking about what looks like an OTC stock, GKPRF from Izzy and Progressive G. GK, let me take a look at it. I don't know what this is.
ULY unhalted and it gapped down and to 381, almost near that 65 EMA, and it's about to fill the gap to the upside and halt at the same time. So, hey, congratulations if you caught that, but I don't know if this is going to turn around or not. It's got a lot of climbing left to do. So out of this next halt, which is probably going to be at least 15 minutes, we'll see what we get.
Real quick here, GKPRF. This is an OTC stock. Unless there's a really clear catalyst on an OTC stock, we pretty much ignore these guys. Let's stick to NASDAQ and NICE.
And how much time do we have left on CISS? Because I feel like I don't know if this was the first halt or not. I can't remember if it was. There's so many halts today. But this could be unhalting pretty soon, since I remember this halted after ULY did. So don't know if you have that time.
I don't yet. I don't have my tool hasn't caught up to this yet. I just have the first halt for SPRB and ULY there.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what CISS does, and I think this is going to halt at some point soon. I just can't exactly say when because I didn't catch the time that it halted at. Looks like NAK is still doing halted. It looks like NAK is still doing all right, trying to get back above that 65 EMA. GLTO also trying to recover, but it's still beneath its VWAP. TMQ continues lower. Might find, I'd say maybe there's going to be some support coming in this one, probably around the 575 area. Don't know for sure though. This could continue selling some more, maybe even down at 530 could be support. I can't say for sure.
You guys are mentioning there on that OTC stock that it won a contract, which is good news, and they'll be off OTC very soon. Hope so. It's just generally with OTC that causes a lot of trouble there. We just generally stay away from it. It's nothing personal.
NNE, this is over the trend line now, but it seems like it's moving on some pretty low liquid volume. So don't know what if it's going to hold up here or not. Let's see what else we got here. I'm not seeing. It looks like LiDAR had a nice turnaround off its 65 EMA. Still working on recapturing VWAP though. And NAK, this is moving through VWAP. A little bit more volume expansion. We have something good here. It looks like.
An NAK. Let me bring. Oh, that's on the scanner. Perfect.
Yeah.
This actually does look like it's trying to curl. We'll see if it's successful in doing that. DVLT, this was another one. SPRB. Daniel's asking me, what's the short plan? Bro, I don't have a plan for SPRB. My plan is to stay away from this.
Yeah, this is going to have to be, trade at your own risk.
Yeah, short this at your own risk.
There is a nice trend line here that's about to break. If you start with the 383.99 high and take
that one that's all the way up there, okay,
and take it through the 845 high, you can see that we're about to push through this trend line. So that's something to watch for there. And if we get that, be ready for fireworks. But there's no guarantee that the fuse is going to get lit.
Yeah. There you go. Matt saying you're missing the pot move, made some quick gains. Take a look at that.
Oh, I'm not missing the pot move.
I was going to say, I'm still long CGC. We could take a look at that here, but we'll start with MSOS. What do you want me to start with, 13?
I still have my MSOS. I'm not missing nothing there.
Okay. Was there news or something that we should cover on this? Headed out to hit the links. There you go. Tilray keeps giving me quick wins. I know Ryan doesn't like it. Yeah, I don't like it because of what's happened before here. Virginia lawmakers discuss steps to prepare state to legalize recreational marijuana sales next year. That is a fresh piece of news as of today. That is affecting the entire pot stocks, including Tilray, which was mentioned here, up 6%. Not bad. Actually, looks like we're getting gains in a lot of these names here.
Very nice. I'm a little concerned about the price action that we've seen lately with MSOS. We're especially up at this 565 area. You can see yesterday that was resistance. In pre-market it was resistance. And now we just experienced that same level as resistance here in the regular session. So certainly it looks like if we have another visit coming up there that we could break through it as we continue to hammer that level. Something I'd be keeping an eye out for with MSOS. And
CISS, you guys are right. This is now open from its halt. This went higher. Looks like it tested just shy of 6 here, holding at about 550 CISS. This looks good. Kathy, good stuff here. Didn't hit this one, but man, oh man, this one looking pretty good.
All right. Next resistance we could come up to with this one is looking like about 650, 655. It's
Here we go. We
wasting,
went right to 6 there.
wasting no time getting up there. Yeah, I got a high print of 590. It certainly looks like we could push a little bit higher. But what a nice break of that trend line. Just love to see it.
Yeah, that the trend line there, that's real juicy. That's what we needed.
And it's great too because we wanted to distract ourselves from the big old knife, the engulfing candle in GLTO.
Is that open now?
Yeah, it's open. It opened higher, get a little pop up, and then it's engulfing this last candle.
GLTO. Here we go.
NAK was rejected by VWAP. ULY is still going through its halt fest. You know, it would be really funny if ULY ends up being today's SPRT or SPRB.
Just because it's almost like ugly?
Well, it's no, not because of that. You're funny. Because of how many times it's been going through halts, and this is, just kind of thinking back to the last times that we've been having these crazy moves in these names. They were originally halt fests in at the beginning of the regular session. They didn't do a whole lot. They just kind of like traded back and forth a little bit, halting a lot. And this one's halting a lot. And now it's starting to trade back and forth. So I'm just kind of wondering if this ends up getting hit hard later on in the day, because it is a low float name and it could get moved around like that.
So put it on the back burner is what I'm hearing.
Put it on
here.
The back burner.
Got it. Real quickly here, COCH. So Marcus, weren't you saying that 150 was the support level here on COCH? So I know we're kind of waiting for this trend line break. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up because you gave some good stats on this earlier.
It has a lot of sellers.
It does have a lot of sellers, but it's holding the support area. And so I'm almost wondering if it sets up from this area. I just want to make sure I'm not misquoting him. Yeah, here we go. There we go, Marcus. COCH support 150, resist 253 and 350.
CISS coming back.
PR pump on this move. Okay.
CISS now going to halt to the downside. So it went up to 593, turned around. Next candle took it down underneath the up. We are halted to the downside at 436. Big pull in NNE as well. That took it down to the VWAP. Looks like a lot of these big movers this morning are getting a bit of a pull in their respective names.
So for those of you that were trading CISS, did you guys ring the register on this one? I know this pulled back here. I wasn't in this.
TMQ is trying to turn around, though. Recaptured the 65 EMA. It's going on to recapture VWAP right now. If we get that, we still have some supply to chew through. That ends at about 750. So looking pretty decent here with TMQ. This could continue to make its way towards that trend line that we drew earlier if we can recapture VWAP. So let's see if we can get back above it. The VWAP's right here where the price is right now.
I was going to say, let me re-add this trend line. Let me re-add this trend line to this chart. I drew it on the. Oh, come on, God, Ryan, come on. Just clicking all of the wrong things here today. Here we go. That gives us a target there, TMQ, if that continues. Super nice job on CISS, excuse me. Good stuff there. Kathy, how did you do?
BJDX is making new session highs right now. It's trying to make its way up towards that pre-market high of 306.
Oh, yeah.
There's a seller in the way at 250, another one at 255. More volume expansion. We'll get through those. There we go. There we go.
Bang. Nice job. BJDX, Blue Jay Diagnostics. Tell you what, the pre-market volume, not great on this, but really that volume expansion that we saw from the open was really what drove it there. Good shout.
Yep. Now this is getting a little bit of sellers to start stepping in here, but let's keep on going with this volume expansion. 260 next area of sellers. Going to be a little bit more heavier supply there too. So this could take a little bit longer to get back up to 3, but it's looking pretty good right now. We just don't want to see this knife on us and come back down to under 240.
Indeed. Smoke Tuna mentioning CSNGX, a setup. This is Sologenics. We've looked at this one before. Tuna, are you thinking maybe a pop through this 165 area where we have some of these upper wicks, maybe a move above 170? What are some of the spots that you see there on SNGX? It does. Oops, let me reset this here.
TMQ is trying to turn around. It is starting to recapture VWAP, or trying to. It's right there at that VWAP right now. Still has to make its way through some supply. I just mentioned that not too long ago, but it's not looking too bad. Really need to continue with this volume expansion so we can get back up into the high sevens.
Okay, good stuff there.
XBio halted up, says WIS, and Webcoin is mentioning PLTR, small pop.
XBio, huh? That seems like one we haven't looked at yet here today.
GLTO is about to make a liquidity run to the upsides as big as bees.
Oh my God, look at XBio ramping. What's going on here? Was there news on this? Supri, we cannot tell you when to sell. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, man. I'm sorry. You're going to have to trade both sides of that. We cannot tell you what the future holds.
Oh yeah, and XBio kind of been,
no news on XBio, by the way.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the chart and I see multiple days on my chart, not just today's. I'm just like, oh, this thing barely gets any attention. So now it's getting it kicking and screaming. Where is this going here? Okay, so we're at the top end of a consolidation range. It looks like, at least near the top end. Still could go a little bit further to get out of it. Man, lots of there are a lot of. I'm sure there's a lot of people trying to get out of this thing, and it only gets rougher as we get into the 5 handle.
You think we have some former bag holders on this? Oh my God, Rocket smoked again. Rocket totally bleeding. But man, part of me wonders if this trade is over. I know I've only got a trailer on here, so it's not the end of the world. This is why you scale out here. This stock has been awful recently. Ever since it lost that 20 and that trend line here, look at this, pounding the lows here again, RKT.
This could be an opportunity. Now, I'm not going to give any levels here because I'm not sure yet. It looks like there's still maybe some more downside to go, but I think we're approaching some really interesting levels. I mean, of course, we have the different levels I mentioned previously. I could still talk about those, and 16 is one of them. I just don't know if we're going to get any big support there. It looks like we could still go lower, but there's a lot of other stuff in the way of the downside that might catch the price action that we're getting right now. So, oh gosh, and that could be viewed as a double top potentially. Yeah, let me don't quote me on anything. This still looks like it could go lower.
This got a price target raise from Keith Bruyette today from 15 to 18. Yesterday, Barclays went from 16 to 19. Stock has just sold off in the face of that.
Yeah, and I think it could be a buying opportunity. Let's okay. I mean, you tell me what you think might be causing this downside, and I want to get back to the stocks, but tell me what you think is causing this downside, because I think that rate cut sentiment for October is starting to fade.
I think you're probably right here. So I guess Anne-Marie was mentioning that there was some debt news in here that I'm looking for.
Oh, there was. I thought that this was on the Redfin report of nearly 60,000 home purchases called off in August.
Yeah, it also says that there are 72% more condo sellers than buyers.
Okay, so still a buyer's market. Now let's go back to these names here and see what's doing us some good.
Yeah, Jay here saying for Rocket, check the home builders. They've been very weak lately. That's going to be your DR Horton, Toll Brothers, KB Homes, Pulte Homes. All of those stocks have been weak. So, Jay, so I turn the same question to you then. Is the trade over? Is it perhaps a buying opportunity? So let me know what you think.
Regarding these movers here, XBio popped up to 472, and now it's absolutely knifing. Surprised we haven't gotten a halt yet, but it is really coming in. NNE, that is getting caught by VWAP. There might be some more here if we can get some volume expansion. CISS, this thing is now on its third red candle down. Might be coming into some support here, but if it's not here, then I think it could be down around 350 that it gets support. LIDR trying to Recapture VWAP still has not been able to get above it in this regular session, but it is getting support from the 65 EMA. BJDX now has come back beneath the VWAP. ULY is going a little bit sideways right now as it establishes a foothold at the 65 EMA. Cochlear trying to get back up to VWAP through the trend line that we drew. ZNB also trying to do the same. We didn't have a trend line, but now that I look at this, we should probably have one on there. That means that we have just moved over it, and we now need to get back above VWAP. TMQ, this is also trying to deal with its VWAP. I think it just got rejected for the second candle in a row. But if it holds above 650, we could push back up above it. There's a big seller in the way at 687. GLTO coming back up as well. Recaptured its VWAP. NAK looking like we're getting pretty close to breaking the trend line that we drew. And now I get to take a breath.
I was going to say that was a lot. I did my best to keep up with it there, rolling through the tickers. Let's see. Tara here. My research shows that the FTC sued Zillow and Redfin in September over a legal agreement to suppress rental advertising competition. That seems to be about the point when a lot of this started dropping on Rocket. Okay, so there you go. Thank you, Tara, for some research and insight there. RKT.
Yep. I don't have any RKT or any options or anything. I closed that a long time ago, but I still have my UWMC.
Yeah, I had leaps on that, and I am out 80% of the position. I basically just have a trailer on. Even if they go to zero, I won't lose on it, but obviously I'm not going to let that happen.
What was great about the whole WMC trade that I did was I had some shares from when I bought previously that were I didn't want to have them anymore because they were higher priced. So when the stock went on a run, I sold those shares, and now I have I think everything that I have is under $4 now. So that's just the way I was managing that one. That
gotcha.
Worked out pretty well. I really like the dividend on UWMC. It's been great.
Okay, long-term hold for you. All right, looking at that BNAI, that's a penny that's halted. LAC, this has been a recent mover. Let me check it. We haven't even looked at LAC here today, have we?
I don't think we have.
Nope. Here's LAC. It's actually pulled back to the VWAP after tapping 940, so couldn't get above yesterday's intraday high. We'll see there. That's LAC. INDP from Market Sniper.
Really quick with LAC, and this is one of the things that I was talking about because I was talking about Albemarle, ALB. Mm-hmm. So in this PR here from today, lithium mining market projected to reach $17 billion by 2035 is expected to be a cornerstone of global energy transition. And I've been talking. We were talking about it yesterday, and we started to get into it before we had to end the session. But batteries and battery technologies are going to be, I think, a big theme going toward the end of this year, maybe even into the beginning of the next year. And I like lithium prices. I think are going to double from here by the end of 2026.
Okay, so that's positive outlook there on Albemarle. Then I would guess.
Absolutely.
Real quick, BLIN mentioned here in the chat. This is a Hawk Search selected a power advanced search for a large healthcare provider. So it looks like Bridgeline Digital says the healthcare provider selected Health Search. So that's what's going on here. Stock is moving, doesn't have the greatest volume though. Nice looking chart, at least intraday here. Float on this just shy of 9 million. That's BLIN. I'd like to see some more volume in here for this one. A nice move here.
I will look
still
at
expanding.
Deep Pro for you. Somebody just mentioned it.
Izzy, I think, was looking for Deep Pro levels.
Yep, I will look at that for you. I mean, what's really interesting that stands out on a daily chart is 20, but it looks like right now we're having a hard time with 12. It does look okay. So we are over I'm sorry, I'm looking at a monthly chart. Forgive me. Still, I mean, I kind of like the way that monthly chart was looking. We have been pretty extended here with Deep Pro as of late. So I think that this coming in a little bit more wouldn't be surprising. We don't want this to be extended, even though with how hot the drone theme is, it could still, of course, run up. Still think that if we do get that more of a move up, 1250 looks like that's the problem it was having earlier.
Okay.
I think 1250 is where I would be putting my resistance. Just draw a straight line across there at 1250 and just keep an eye on that. I think that's going to be the spot where we initially get rejected, unless we've already got that rejection. That takes us back down to a lower print, maybe cools off the RSI. But following that, I'd be looking at 1250 as the breakout spot the next time it visits it.
Okay. Joe here saying, absent any housing news, I'm not back into RKT until 1450.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Let me look at 1450 on a chart. I mean, there might even be a better spot, even lower. I'm not saying that 1450 isn't good, but I think that this could still end up coming in some more. But let me just double check here as soon as my chart comes up. There we go. I do have a sideways area that is beneath 16, and that's from, interestingly, the low of that channel is going to be 1450, and the high of that channel is 1520. So if we lose this 16 handle, I would be keeping an eye on that range for support. And what's really great about that is that the 200-day SMA is at 1442 right now. So it's really making that 1450 area look even more enticing. I think we may get a bounce at 16, but I don't think we're going to recover, if that makes sense. I think if we are going to get any kind of price action that's following a bounce at 16, that's going to probably take us up, I would say maybe $17 before we turn around and head lower.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to go through all of these tickers here. Looks like my charts are not cooperating with me again. Smoke Tuna gave all movers, but you guys don't seem interested. Bro, we have been trying to move through everything here. What are you talking about, man? And you guys are mentioning BQ, trying to pull it up here. Obviously struggling here with my chart. Izzy mentioning Rich Tech Robotics is moving. That's plus 9% here today.
So BQ,
yeah, I got a chart issue. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on here.
BQ is a pet products trade. They provide food, health products, grooming, bathing, toys, fish tank stuff, aquatics, fertilizers, all that stuff. So this is what is it? A pet delivery service, I believe. Yeah, online store. So yeah, pet equipment delivery. It's like a Chewy, I guess.
Okay.
This is really getting some movement. I'm not sure on what. What is this, like the Chewy of China? Seems like it. I don't know enough about this company. I don't know how good it is, or, I mean, I'm not going to make any pet jokes, but I'm just kind of surprised that this is actually a thing in China. I'm not typically, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to speculate on this. I just don't know enough about this. And I don't know, I haven't really heard about, the pet trade in China yet.
Sorry, I'm still trying to report all of this stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm moving way too fast here. Any
news on Rigetti? Looks like it got a price target raise. That's the only thing I see here today. Benchmark is the one that raised it. They gave it a price target of 50 after raising it from 20. So I guess I would kind of that price target kind of seems like low hanging fruit considering how close it is to 50. So our Rich Tech Robotics is gone.
I tried to go to it. I'm sorry. I'm struggling here.
Well, we can't do anything about trade views inputs. It's, they need to get their stuff together. Looks like we're getting a bit of a reversal here in MSOS. XBio is holding above VWAP for the moment. NNE is also trying to do the same. Seems like a lot of volume has really, kind of left the market here already. We are almost at that 1030 time when we do expect it to vanish. CISS now above its VWAP. This is trying to get back up towards the $6 area that we were looking at earlier. LiDAR has kind of been sideways, and this looks like it could end up going lower. Watch for a loss of the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. ULY, this is halted the upside now, so here we go. We're still Still dealing with halts with this one. So that's a thing.
Here we go. Here's your UOI chart. So do you think this maybe bottomed here?
If there's going to be a silly mover today, I think I would gamble on UOI being the one, and it's open now. So it's lower, and it's starting to get some movement here. I don't know where this is going to go.
I was going to say, I think this 420 spot might be key for that.
Yeah, I mean, it could make a wild move up to VWAP and then halt. We'll see. But so far, it looks like it's trying to turn around. This will be hilarious if this actually does it.
I am definitely going to laugh. If you called this one as it was getting absolutely taken out to the woodshed, and then this ends up being a massive halt fest, I'm gonna laugh. I am absolutely going to laugh. With saying that COCH is not done yet. Let's take.
No,
okay, so we've moved through. So, dude, we've moved through the trend line, but we kind of moved through it sideways. What do we think here? VWAP up there at 181. That's actually not a bad range for a trade if it goes.
Yeah, it's still a lot of sellers in this, but we just need that expansion of volume. That's all I think we really need, is just to see that volume expand.
Okay, and maybe we do get that here. 160 is at right now. It may have moved right through that. What's the next spot here that it dropped from? 163 or 4? We're right here. I think you're right about those sellers. We'll see.
Yeah, it's like 170 to $2. There's like that's the real thick of the supply that I see here. That's above the price. So if it can get enough volume to chew through all that, then we might be able to see some better moves in the 2 handle.
Man, I tell you what, this is only 20 cents away from the VWAP. I think if this pops that 20 cents, you're probably going to lure even more people back to this name. Even just from like a scanner mention there. Okay, good stuff on that. We'll see here on COCH if that's not done yet, Wes.
Yeah, some of this, I agree with him. I think this is trying to turn around here. Just need it. I mean, for me, it's got to get above the VWAP, first of all, and we're almost there.
Okay.
Just kind of looking around at some of these other ones. It looks like TMQ might be trying to get above this VWAP here. It certainly looks like it's setting up to do so. Again, volume is going to be the key here, and we're about to lose a lot of it.
While we're waiting this out here, Tuna's saying TMQ, it's got to hold this level. The longer it might not be done. I think you mean the longer it holds, the less likely it is to be done. Correct me if I got that wrong. I'm not sure. And then BQ to open in 2 minutes. Okay. Is it BQ or BTQ? I think it's BQ. I think we actually have both going here today.
Yeah, Burger Queen. BQ.
I was going to say, I was like, there's no way that's actually what it is. In fact, it is BQ. No. So BTQ and BQ here. Sorry if we screw that one up.
BQ is the Chewy of China. Rigetti is absolutely moving here. And that means that probably all the other quantum names are doing pretty well too. So Rigetti, let's see. This is what, a new one, all-time high now? The new all-time high in Rigetti. So maybe Ionic's going to do the same thing. Yeah, it looks like a new all-time high in Ionic.
I'm still waiting. I still think there's going to be a short in these names. No positions on. I'm looking for that.
There's no doubt there will be, but I think trying to time it, like some criminals are trying to, is the wrong move.
I think it's hard to time anyway. BQ open here, 29 prints. This is going for 30 on BQ.
Wow, look at that move.
I mean, this is just straight vertical on the expanding volume that we talked about.
Yeah, just be careful. This seems like a total pump and dump here. This is a low float Chinese name with no news. That seems like a potential pump and dump. Just be careful if you're going to trade that, please. I want you all to come back here tomorrow and play around with more of these movers without losing our wallets. Seems like everything's just kind of holding its breath right now. CISS though, that's not looking too bad. That just had a nice move up over 5. And NNE looks like that's going to make another attempt at the trend line that we drew.
NNE, sorry, let me pull that one up here. Doing my best to keep up with all of you folks. Yeah, or Jay saying, Rigetti, it's been straight up since Citron announced that short. Good job, Sideshow. Give you a register ring for your best day in the last month. Glad you're able to catch
Nice.
CISS. They're really timely mention from Kathy there. Your NNE curling back up to that trend line, 13. Don't look now.
We're getting a request to look at Kraken. Is it released?
Is the Kraken release? COCH, this actually is still continuing its curl. I've got the VWAP now at 181, current price at 163.
What's the ticker for Kraken? I mean, that sounds like a crypto. What's the ticker?
He might be asking you for that.
No, he's asking if we can look at Kraken.
Phil Kraken. Guys
BQ,
brought the jokes today, that's for sure.
BQ hit 29.88, kind of pulling here. See if this is just the start of the pull or if it's just going to continue higher afterwards. Cochlear is still trying to get through that my VWAP anyway. I think it might be different for yours, but
yeah, I've got VWAP 181.
And mine's 167.
Okay, well, it's right at that spot right now. You guys are cracking me up. Joe, I see what you did there. I think it is BKKT. Is this what you mean for the Kraken? You thought this BKKT?
Let's see. Let's see what the news feed tells us.
Kathy here. Can you take a look at SLDP if you haven't already? Haven't yet. Here's Solid Power. This is doing a good job after its move yesterday. This was on news yesterday, wasn't it? I can't recall what it is. No, this was from Friday. February 10 call sweeps. All right, so you had a really aggressive buy here. They only paid a quarter for those. Still here at 586. Yeah. What's going on here with this one, Kathy? SLDP. It actually looks pretty good after yesterday.
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to see if I could figure out what the BKKT is holding as far as crypto goes. Unless it's Bitcoin, I'm not sure. I'd have to dig into some of these.
Solid state battery technology and manufacturing. Wasn't there something else that we were talking about batteries earlier?
What are you talking about?
This is ticker SLDP, a Kathy request.
SLDP.
Zach's saying that this has badass technology too. I just can't remember if this was tied to another name that we had talked about today or not.
Well, it's nice that they already got through their offering. It seems I don't know if they've closed it yet, but 150 million stock offering they had in September, a month ago. Let's see.
I think we really want this to move through 630 SLDP.
So this is a lithium replacement. This is supposed to be a battery cell that doesn't use lithium. It uses a sulfide-based solid electrolyte. Is that kind of the big thing here for this? And it's just like an alternative to lithium.
CISS coming back on, this moving towards the highs again after another VWAP test and hold, frankly. They had developed tech to turn current processes into solid-state batteries, eliminating the need for the entire solid-state battery production lines.
Okay. I mean, that's a little bit of a vague description. That's kind of why I was wondering how are they doing that? Like, is it, it seems like they're using some kind of sulfide-based material, but I would want to know more about this. And their supply chains, I would say. I don't know enough about this company, but it's saying that it's a lithium battery disruptor. This is kind of what I'm getting from this.
30. Okay, so BQ here might be making a test of 30. This right back at the highs here. Super Mario, appreciate the tip there. Thanks, guys. You're awesome. Thank you for looking at Kraken PNGY. Is that
what it is? PNGY? I don't have PNGY out for anything.
Yeah, neither do I. PNG. Sorry, Super Mario, we're lost.
NNE back up to the trend line that we drew. It's coming through. It might even make a new session high here, where the current one is 59.50.
Right through that trend line. Look at that.
LIDR has not been great this morning. I think we might finally get our move here in Cochlear. It's right at my VWAP.
CRKN. This is, I don't think this is what they were talking about, but COCH. Is Wiss right on this one? He said he didn't think this one was done. We moved through that area. I've got VWAP still at 181.
CRKN is not Kraken. That is Crown Electrokinetics. All right.
Kraken Robotics, ticker PNG.
We'll eventually get it. PNG.
Day trader saying that that's privately held.
Okay, well then we're not going to see it here. Kraken Robotics, TSXV, PNG. That doesn't sound like.
Yeah, I don't have a ticker for that.
That doesn't sound like a U.S. exchange. It sounds like it's on a different exchange.
Smoke Tuna mentioning NAC. This really needs to get through 189, doesn't it? And we also need to see that volume step up, I feel like.
Yeah, PNG.V is what I'm seeing here after going through a search. This is not on a U.S. exchange. That's why we can't trade it.
Okay. So we're looking at U.S. stocks here in our feed, but that's helpful. Wiss saying that the COCH wall there at 175. So is that our next key level to take out there? 175.
It's a Canadian exchange that it's on. That's what it is. So Tracy might have the OTC version of it. Is it KRKNF? Let's look.
Okay, can try that here. COCH. It does look like this is trying to go to the
There
VWAP.
it is. That's the one.
All right. So KR. Thank you, Tracy.
Yep.
Really good stuff there. KR. What was it?
KRKNF.
KRK. I guess I should have guessed that.
So if you're going to try and trade that, this is the way to do it. It's on OTC, so there is a little there's more risk with that. But seems like they have some pretty good news now. They look back to the last half of the year of their PR. Could be good. I don't know enough about it to give an opinion.
Yeah, I can't resolve it. And just like I was saying earlier, generally just stay away from OTC stocks for the most part.
All right. So
COCH continuing here. 175 looks to be that next spot there. I would say, given this bottom, if you took it here, I would probably put a stop in just so you don't give everything back.
Looks like CISS did still try to go for that 593 area, still having a hard time getting back up there. NNE hasn't quite broken the regular session high yet, but it's very close.
Oh God, Webcoin mentioning WETH. Careful with this one. Did we have news here? This is popping on some volume.
Oh, is it finally happening?
WeTouch reports first quarter fiscal year financial results. Net income surges over fourfold. Cash reaches $8.09 per share.
Okay, well, let's see what we get.
$1.50.
This could go on a run, maybe. Let's see what we end up getting. And it's funny too, because this was facing a NASDAQ compliance issue, and this report satisfies that. So this effectively has regained them NASDAQ compliance. Don't know where this is going to go. Maybe maybe 890, but we'll see. Giddy up.
BQ unhalt here in a sec. I'll leave it on the screen.
BQ unhalted. Nice.
Going to in 1 minute.
Okay.
Sorry.
CCCX. Let's take a look at CCCX. Since that's getting mentioned. Oh yeah, this is the Churchill Capital one. Oh, gosh, they're merging with some kind of quantum company, aren't they? I remember looking at this one previously. Let me double check and see what they've got going on here. Bear with me. It is merging with, that's right, Inflection. That is going to change it to ticker INFQ. It's valued at a 1.8 billion pre-money equity valuation. And this is Inflection is a company that develops neutral atom-based quantum computers.
BQ more, by the way.
Nice.
Right out of that halt.
So, I mean, this is still in the quantum theme. It could fuel the quantum names even further with this. We'll see what we end up getting, but that's what's happening here with CCCX or CCCX. All right. And
BQ is starting to get a little crazy here.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's this going to go to? This is like blue sky territory, I think, for BQ.
Yeah. I'm going to leave this chart up for a sec. Be right back. 1 sec.
Sounds good. Well, he's doing that. Taking a look at some of these other movers from this morning. Looks like Cochlear is still having a hard time with VWAP. ULY, that's still getting pushed down to the 65 EMA. TMQ still sideways, even if it is trending a little bit lower. FIGR keeps going up. Good morning, Andrew Senior TV. BNAI, penny stock, cap setup. So I'll just look at FIGR. Oh, wow, nice. It's just had a breakout over a bull pennant. Looks like this could run up to its 20-day SMA if this keeps going. That's going to be at 62.78. So that's something that could certainly happen there with that one. Market poll. So let's see if there's news. What do we got here with this market poll? Oh, yeah, look at that go down. European Union Commissioner Stefan Sejourne posts on X, to save our steelworks and our European jobs, we have, as in cut in half, our quota of steel imported from abroad. We double the customs duties from 25 to 50%. This is the new safeguard clause on steel. This is the reindustrialization of Europe. That's the latest news that I see there. Before that, Fed Vice Chair for Supervision Bowman does not comment on monetary policy or economic outlook. I don't think that's really moving anything. It seems to be moving down following the European Union Commissioner statement. So that's kind of what I would be thinking is happening there with the market. Somebody mentioning Intel. This is moving up. I'm not seeing any news today on why it's moving up, but it could be moving up with some of the other semis. I mean, AMD is certainly higher. NVIDIA is a little bit higher. So it could just be getting a relative sector lift. Hi, Ryan.
How's it going?
Not bad. Wish some of these other things would do some stuff. F having a rough day, says producer. This is Ford. Ooh, yeah, down. This is really coming in. Nissan in talks with Ford, Stellantis on sharing hybrid EV. Interesting.
PayPal at another.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. They had news earlier this morning. A devastating fire at a major Ford supplier will disrupt business for months.
Oh, that doesn't sound good at all.
No. That seems to be the big news there. Yes, thank you, Izzy. That's what it was. Yeah, Weth came right back in. We'll see what happens later on. It was a nice initial pop, but Nothing that continued. NNE, this did end up getting a new high. Broke over that 59.50 area. We're at 637 is the new high. Fantastic on that. COCH.
It's going to that longer term trend line 13. That's NNE.
Oh, fantastic.
I've got that, 61? Yeah, it looks like that's going to be tested here today.
All right. Well, that's where we draw these things. Yeah, 60, 61, 62. Yep. Looking pretty good. And then this thing can come right back in because it's already, I mean, right now it's at a 79 RSI on the daily, which is pretty high. So I would think that this is about due to come back in. All right, so getting a little bit of a turnaround here in TMQ yet. Seems like following that news, it looks like the big trade kind of happened out of the gate, and that was it for now. I don't know how great this is going to be for the rest of the day. Matter of fact, a lot of these names just aren't looking great. But not NNE, that's looking pretty good. And Netflix blast off. Did that weakness finally get shaken off? NFLX, it's up 2%.
We never got our 11 test on that, did we?
11 test?
Yeah, 1100, which we talked about being a potential ad spot. We also had the 200 day, I think at like 1089 or something like that. No, we dipped towards it, but we never actually printed it.
Well, it still could come back down there. Let's see what happens at the 20 and 50 day SMAs.
So Izzy, what are you thinking here? Since we didn't get that test, are you kind of waiting it out, or are you still trying to buy some of these pullbacks that take it close? Because I'm with you on this. I'm liking this for another kind of an upside move there if it puts its bottom in. Let me know how you're approaching that. I'm curious.
BQ has popped up to 35.64 and it has halted.
Thing's a monster.
Looks like TMQ is still trying to push up. It might, let's see what happens around VWAP. It's still making its way up there, but with the 132 million share float, it's going to be a little bit of a slower mover than some of these other names we're looking at today.
Izzy says, I'm waiting. Yeah, me too, buddy. All right. It looks like we're looking at the same thing there. And again, if Netflix undershoots 1100 and it holds like 1090, I think that's better still, right? Because you're basically going to be holding the 200. Wouldn't even be terribly surprised if it peaked beneath the 200 and then reclaimed it. That's if we get another downside move there. I'm with you on that one. Izzy, still waiting that out.
A lot of sideways action in a lot of these things and these names that we were trading this morning.
Yeah.
Not really providing a lot of
EQ, the only one that's really kind of ramping there. Rigetti pulling back a little bit. IREN, this has been another huge winner here for the group. This just kind of holding steady just under 60. ALLR has a daily setup. That's been another winner for us in the past.
Yeah, TMQ has taken a while. Both that one and NAC has taken a while. And I think it's because the news and the big move came in the after hours yesterday. Didn't really get some follow through today, but maybe it'll happen later.
So here's your ALLR daily. You thinking this moves through 175? What's this high here? 184? We did kind of break this trend line, but again, that was more kind of a sideways move as we held 150. You have 233 as a potential upside target there.
BQ halted to the downside now.
COCH maybe making another move here.
The quantum names are also selling off pretty hard. Rigetti really falling, Ionic really falling. But they're falling down to where they opened, so it's not like.
Yeah, you know what I also noticed is Bitcoin coming in here too. So Bitcoin came in from 126 to 123. Ethereum falling too. That ETHA that's moved down here. I'm wondering what else is moving with that. It seems that those quantum names are kind of moving with Bitcoin.
It could just be tech in general. Let's see here. That's not going to help me. SQQQ is on the rise. As a matter of fact, it's a current high of the session. So it seems like it's just tech in general right now. Unless there's like a specific company that's pulling everything down.
Kathy's asking for thoughts here on FIGR. Not one that I follow, Kathy. Blockchain-based products and solutions centered around the vision of promising efficiency and liquidity in financial markets.
We traded this one before, I believe.
Yeah, we have traded it before, but I'm thinking like long-term, don't have much on this.
This got a whole bunch of analyst ratings yesterday in the morning. Buy at Goldman Sachs, overrated Piper Sandler, hold at Jefferies, outperform at Bernstein, outperform at Mizuho, neutral at Autonomous, outperform at Keefe Bruyette, neutral at B of A, and buy at Needham.
And all the price targets are basically right where we're at right now. 10 mil in rev versus 10 billion in market cap.
Yeah. So I don't know how much more is left with this, to be honest. Well, XBio just moved through its VWAP again. Some of these names might be coming back up here. SOS back above it. NNE kind of backing off the 651 level. COCH, let's see if we get the move here. It's trying to get back above the VWAP.
Yeah, sorry, Kathy, I don't have much for you on that. Sorry about that. Here is your COCH. What a call, Wiss. This was not done yet. Let's see if this really goes crazy, if it moves through the VWAP. That would be something to watch.
Folks mentioning GLTO. I don't think we've drawn a trend line here this morning, but now that we have some levels we can draw it from, I started with the pre-market high, drew it through the session
Got it.
high.
I see it.
And if we unhalt here and manage to recapture this VWAP, this is the trend line I'm looking for it to break. All right, COCH looking not bad. A lot of sellers in the way though, starting at 175.
And then that's TMQ. Let me bring up COCH. So let's see if that gets through the VWAP there.
Yep.
Karanbir, we cannot tell you to buy or sell. We're only covering what's moving here. Telling you what we're doing on it. Cannot advise one way or another what you do.
Ionic down to 65 EMA and VWAP. We're getting now trading beneath both of them. XBio trying to recapture its VWAP.
Finally starting to see some Rigetti puts come across the wire. These are the 40 puts for this week, it looks like. Next week. And I really want to try a short on these quantum names, but I just feel like I'm going to get face ripped.
And, I'm wanting to caution that we could end up seeing something similar that happened in September, where it looked like it was starting to turn around. And then as soon as we started trading underneath 29, it just got bought up and ripped all the way up and went up to 45. So it's, not out of the realm of possibility for that to happen again, but it is really, really extended here. So I think it serves us all well to anticipate that there's downside coming. Just not going to take a short position quite yet. Need to see some real panic in the market, I think. And they are really loading up the resistance areas with COCH. 175 is just loaded up with sellers.
This has been one of those, we've just been kind of watching this here. This is kind of one of those where all of these areas where it looks like it's going to break through, these are all death traps to buy. You had to buy these pullbacks down to the support area to really kind of make money on this. It's just kind of going sideways here like this. Yeah, I agree. The VWAP here looks juicy, but man, oh man, every time this thing has tried to really kind of break higher, it just gets pulled back in. Like you were saying, those sellers get stacked on it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, unless it starts cutting loose here. I don't know that buying any type of these breakouts is going to work for you on COCH. Now that I've said that, of course, it'll make me look a complete fool. So
you needed to have been, buying when it was, weaker, down when it was, like hitting
buying the weakness, which we say here. Yep.
Yeah, when it was pulling back to the lows of the pre-market, that was around the area you wanted, and now it's making its way through some of these sellers here.
Here we go. Here comes 180 finally.
Yep, we're getting some expansion in volume here now. Why is this not doing stuff?
Yeah, Jay saying buy some puts. The risk is defined. That's what I'm thinking at. That's what I'm thinking for Rigetti, and maybe now's the time. Maybe look out to November. I really shouldn't need to look out that far if we're playing a regression back to the mean and it's moved to the upside so quickly, right?
Well, 190 could be a big breakout spot. We'll see what happens there. There is some sellers on the way at 2 and 205, so I don't know if it's going to be a big move beyond 190. But it's certainly resolving to where that's going to be the spot to watch for. That's where I think we're going to see a breakout, is that 190 area. Wow, Ionic. Really
Anne-Marie, she reads the room pretty well here. I've got a trade on Rigetti waiting for you today. Stay tuned, folks. Anne-Marie here in 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Want me to split so we can get to that?
No.
Because, hey, I'm excited to hear about it, too. COCH, by the way, still above VWAP. A little bit of a pullback here, but I think it's just setting up to push higher.
I have COCH right at VWAP right now. 182 in the broker, 180 here in TradingView. We'll see if we can get through this. Maybe this finally launches it. Boy, you had to be patient on this one. Jay saying 2 to 3 weeks is what you're looking at on those quantum puts. Okay.
DraftKings goes down every day. I haven't looked at DraftKings lately. But
I was going to say you got to be loving that.
Oh man, it did exactly what I was looking for it to do. See the sideways price action I said that was going to happen? It did that for a few days, and now here we go lower. $30 incoming here. I don't know if it's going to happen today or this week. It still looks like 32 might have some support, but I'm looking for $30, folks.
Yeah, that was a really good call on that 13.
Man, oh man, this thing is looking ugly.
Really good one there on DraftKings. And stop me if you've heard this before, but COCH stopped there at the VWAP. We're on another test right now, but man, oh man, it has really struggled to get through this.
Thank you, Izzy. I appreciate it. And of course, Ryan, too. Yes. I got you. Oh man, look at the selling happening in Rigetti. It'd be cool if we finally get some of these quantum names to finally come in.
Yeah, I agree.
Really do need to come in. They're just so extended. That's not a bad line there, Joseph Schmo, because I think that's literally what's happened here. And it's not just Hood that's hurting DraftKings. It's those other prediction markets. What's and some of them that have a better payout than DraftKings. What's the one that that was cited in the short report? Starts with a K.
Kalshi?
Yeah.
The prediction market vendor?
Yeah. That apparently has a better payout than DraftKings. It seems like unless DraftKings makes some changes to their payout structure, it could be overtaken by some of these other names that are rewarding their users bet more. So I don't know. I don't know what how low DraftKings is going to go based on that. But looking at the technicals, this I mean. Bold statement. This would not surprise me if it went back to the SPAC price, $10. Would not surprise me. Not going to guarantee that that's going to happen, but the last time we had a head and shoulders pattern, it resolved down to $10. This is a head and shoulders pattern that we're getting here. If we get a breakdown of 30, that's a resolution that we're starting to get. I would think that $10 is on the docket.
Owen here saying DraftKings started to charge 50 cents to place a bet. FanDuel has that too. That's state-based. They have that here in Illinois. I won't even give you my comments on it because I want to keep this a family show and keep the positivity high.
He's not happy though.
No, I'm not. I'm not happy in the end result. I'm not happy in who did it. I'm not happy with the entire thing. No, none of this is good. None of this is good.
folks are mentioning GLTO before we got into talking about DraftKings. This is halted to the upside. We're still looking for a break of the trend line, but it has moved over the VWAP, and after getting some support near the 65 EMA. So looking really good right now. We'll have to wait and see what we get out of this halt here. But I would anticipate this to move over the VWAP and try to test that session high that we have here of 3170.
See if the trend line holds up again there. I'm going to keep rolling through some of the list here. DVLT, that's not really done much of anything. BQ, this really came back in, it looks like, off that high. We had a halt to the downside here there. Yes, ET3, let the evil flow through you. That's going to be a Return of the Jedi quote there. So if you know, you know. Indeed, we do. Indeed, we do. Tesla's red. Hey, when does that event start? When is the actual time for that event? Probably should have covered that earlier here. It's probably in the morning report. Let me go check.
I wonder if it's going to be after the market closes.
Actually, don't have it on here. That's feedback to deliver to the team.
There might not even be one. A time. Let's see. Ions, lots of buying on level 2. Look at ions. Oh, this is the short ETF for Ionic. Okay. I mean, this thing has been absolutely slaughtered, so yeah, it would make sense. That'd be crazy if this thing came up to like 540 or wherever this high is, 530-ish, and was rejected. It'd be putting in a pretty interesting bottoming pattern if that started happening. So we'll see what happens as this comes up toward the 20-day SMA. Rigetti, this is continuing lower too. Man, oh man. I wonder if Palantir is coming in too. No, that's not helpful.
I'm looking. I don't have a time here.
No, not yet. It's sideways, but it could. It looks like it could roll over. Sorry to interrupt.
The bedtime brief here saying it's probably just going to be a tweet. That Tesla event. They're literally claiming it as an event. Trying to find a time there for you. I don't have one though.
Do I think the Zeta Network group will reverse back to VWAP, ZNB? Yeah, let me look at my broker here.
I don't have any time there for it.
Okay, so
Ryan, did you look at PROC? I did not.
So this one, the ZNB is still getting some support from the 65 EMA. I don't have a time on when this is going to, turn around and try to come back up, or if it's going to even do that or not. I think that as long as this trade, or as long as the price holds up above the 65 EMA, there's still a possibility for this to turn around. But the volume isn't looking great in this one right now.
I'm sorry, man. Which one?
This is ZNB.
ZNB. This is one of our movers from this morning.
Yeah, it's moved down mostly, and this is it did have that pop over the trend line, but it was met with a matching candle, maybe almost an engulfing candle that took it back down to the 65 EMA. So it's going sideways right now, which is encouraging. But I think if we lose that 65 EMA, that's not going to be a good sign for this. So, and when I mean lose it, I mean like we close, like the candle start closing underneath it. It could, print underneath there and come right back up. But I think that 65 EMA is going to be the support to watch for. And the resistance that we have right now, it seems to be at about 410.
Tess here saying they only teased at no time. That's what I found too. All I could find are the teases for it. Looking it up didn't provide anything. So I don't think there is a time listed for it. Tesla here is holding lower by about 1.25%. And then real quick here, COCH, that's down here.
Yeah, it fell back beneath VWAP.
That VWAP.
Yeah. But
Judge, take care of yourself.
Take care, Judge. It's yeah, I just don't know. I mean, the volume of this thing is still pretty low. We had that pop, and then it was met with the matching volume to the downside. I don't know if this is going to hold up, but recapturing that VWAP, maybe there is still more to go here. We do need to get back above 185 if we recapture VWAP, though. And there were some other ones that I was looking at here. I saw a GLTO had opened and went lower, but it's getting caught by the VWAP. Still hasn't broken that trend line yet.
Yeah, it's all about that trend line there. Kev, take care of yourself. Good stuff as always, my man. Yeah, okay. 13, I think we're going to go for Anne-Marie. We're going to get this Rigetti trade and whatever else she has on the docket. Do you have any closing words here for the group?
Hey, we did catch some pretty good movers. I think this is going to be a bit of an interesting day with how these, quantum stocks are getting hammered, but we'll see what we end up getting with that. It's been a fun day. Look forward to trading with y'all tomorrow. Have fun with Anne-Marie. I'm looking forward to the trade she's got set up. So without further ado, let me get off here so we can get to her trade. Take care, folks. I'll see you later. Bye.
All right. Really great job. As always, 13. We'll see you later and tomorrow. 13's departure leaves room for the one and only Anne-Marie. Let's see how she's doing. Anne-Marie, how are you on this Tuesday morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Another day, another dollar here. Crazy things abound, but that's not stopping us. Big talk here, as you kind of caught there, was some of these quantum names looking for a potential short trade there with risk well defined. So I'm going to turn it over to you. What do you got for us here today?
All right. Why don't we go to Rigetti first and let's take a look at what's going on. We've got the daily chart here, and it has really exploded. We know it's a lot of news coming on the back. Everybody's jumping on the OpenAI bandwagon.
Yep.
I think OpenAI is going to really push forward what happens in the quantum field. We're still going to need a lot of things like lithium and copper, so we'll talk about a couple of those as well.
Perfect.
But let's take a look at what's going on with the cumulative delta. For Rigetti, it's at one of the highest levels that I've seen, certainly all year. And so it is at the top of the range. We are seeing some divergence with my ChatGPT oscillator come in, and the accumulation swing index puts it really high comparatively speaking. So it's sitting at a spot where a pullback should be nice, but at the end of the day, if these guys are sitting in a hot spot, we've got a longer term trade that's going to be great upside. So let's take a peek at what we've got. So let's go to you first, because we're looking for risk-defined exposure to the downside that's going to give us some cash. And then we're going to look for risk-defined upside, but a long timeline. So first of all, here we have, if you want to try November, I have a 1x3x2 butterfly, $1,000 of upside, less the 79 cents to buy the spread. So it's a 1 at 25, a 3, we're going to sell 3 of them at 15, and we're going to buy 2 at 10. And so completely risk defined, and look at it jumping around. You could probably put it in there for 75 cents, see if it'll fill. Okay. There's a fair bit of volume sitting around there also. So when we were talking just a little bit ago, and you started pointing at Rigetti and you said, man, I really want to short this, I went to the October 31st and I looked at this spread, 36, 33, 30. And you might say, gosh, that's only $3 wide. It was 20 cents when I first put it up there. It's now 52. I would say throw in the 20-cent stink bid. Okay. And, maybe this position will give us some nice opportunities on that pullback into fair support. Here's the next thing. Let's say we think this is actually going to run and it's going to fade and then expand. What I've got is another 1 by 3 by 2. Now you're saying, why are you doing a 1 by 3 by 2 versus a 1 by 2 by 1? And it's because the implied volatility is so high. If we just went outright and bought the spread or just bought the call, it would be dramatically expensive for us. And so what we want to do is give the chart a little bit of room to jockey around and give us a chance to move to the upside. Again, I think maybe 70 cents to put in at this one. It's moving anywhere from 58. Look, maybe put in the 58. $58 for $1,000 of upside. Yes, you're going to sit on it for a while, but what it's doing is allowing you to position for potential upside way down the road while using the options to pay for all the noise that's sitting in the chart. So I really, really like that. Now, here's the one that I am going to put on. This one is giving it some time. Again, it's got about a year and a couple of months on it. I'm going to do the 50-60 back ratio, but I'm selling it. And so I'm buying one of the 50s and selling 2 of the 60s. It's going to give me a $1,300 credit. And I'm going to sit around, let it flex. If it pops into 60, I'm just going to cover the spread and take whatever the difference is that I have left, or I'm just going to buy a 65 underneath it or open up a brand new back ratio underneath it so that I'm able to capture it as it moves up. Because there's so much volatility here, if you've got an account that can manage this kind of position, it really looks pretty sweet to me. So,
Okay.
that being said, that's what we're staring down there. I like it. If you want to trade multiples of this 31st of October, you certainly can, but it looks easily like you could get a really cheap bid in there and make 3x on it, no problem, in the likelihood of what's going on here, because it is got a tremendous amount of volatility, and the accumulation distribution line for this swing index that I've been watching, because I'm always looking at how other pieces can tell us what's going on in terms of who's moving in, who's moving out, and the strength of the move in. And it looks like there's it's time for this one for folks to come in and go, you know what, I think I'll take a little bit of profit. So that's what I'm saying. And today we've got 90% sellers as it currently sits off of this high breakaway. Last thing, it's about a $10 move from, well, actually it's about $15 out of this range that it's had since, where did it get in there? December of 24. And so that's a measured move at that 38. So I think you're right on the money about this thing coming in. I think it easily comes into 34 and very likely the 28 level, which is why I like that 25 15 spread a little bit better.
Okay, so I know we used Rigetti as the example, but could you apply this same thesis to some of the other quantum names like IONQ or QBTS?
Absolutely. Let's QBTS does not have an option chain, do they?
I don't know off the head. I just
I don't
listed the
think they
quantum
do.
stocks. You're probably
Because
right about that.
Because I think I own
No,
this one.
QBTS does.
Oh, they've just put them on.
They actually look pretty robust too. IONQ, let me check that for you. That also has a chain. That's
Absolutely.
actually a little bit lighter.
Let's look at QBTS. As you know, I bought this way down here. And so It's been very, very good to me. This is a shocking / ridiculous move as far as I'm concerned, but it's got an earnings event on November the 13th. Volatility is pretty spiked. We can see the seasonal motion suggesting a fade. Also, that fade should come back to old resistance, which is new support. That's right at the 30 line. So let's have a look. Why not? Let's go to right after earnings, and let's see where the traders are setting up. Okay, we've got 3,000 of them at 25. Yep, that's the most of them. So if we are thinking to ourselves, what gives there? We could easily say, all right, why not buy, what could we do here? Let's see. It wouldn't be as cheap here. So let's see. If we did a 30, 25, 20, 87 cents. That's not bad.
That's not bad, yeah.
Into earnings. Yeah, absolutely. $500 upside for $87 of risk. We certainly could do that. They really are pretty. Yeah, that implied volatility is so absolutely gorgeous. It might not be a bad idea to oh, that one might be a little risky. Yeah. My thought was, hey, why not buy? They're looking at 41. If you're thinking, hey, what if it moves up and then stalls out? Easily, the 41-45 back ratio gives you a $280 credit, uses $960 of risk. For me, I'm always looking for the credit because that's where a lot of my revenue stream comes from. So I'm thinking that. But as far as it goes, again, if you're looking way down the chain for what could happen, look at how much. There's a ton of interest down here.
Oh yeah. Right? And you'll notice, is it like that on the put side? Scroll up a little bit. See if it's like that on the put side.
It's not really.
Yeah, you have to really get to those 20 handles before you get it.
Exactly. So, again, here's the thing. If you want to be put to this and you go, all right, I know the baseline is near 20. What if I bought the 20 thinking it was going to fade and I sold 2 of the 15s? If it comes down, I get put to the stock at $15. I get $1 credit and I get $500 for it moving down. So literally, I'm in the stock for $10. You see that?
Yeah.
It comes in there. So absolutely some pretty solid ways to play it. You want to be a little careful for those of us that go, hey, I just want to buy long calls or long puts. This is not the place to do it when you've got implied vol sitting up over 100, and the further out of the money these things get to, the vol is insane. It's incredible. It's 170 with spreads that you could drive a Mack truck through.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So that's it for that one.
Okay.
Let's take a look a little bit at the war machine. And so I say that only because what we are seeing is a pervasive bid under copper, lithium, steel, all of the things we can pull out of the ground. And so That's not necessarily means we're going to war, but during a cycle of geopolitical unrest, these are the places where people move their money into, because we know that machinery and the building of machinery will crank up. And so Southern Copper is one that is very strong. It broke out of its base at the beginning of, not really the beginning, just about mid-September, and it's just moved like a rocket ship to the north. So my thought is probably it's time for a little bit of a breath. Where's the best place for that to be? And how can we do this relative to earnings? Notice again, accumulation distribution at the highest peak of the entire year. Let's go to a weekly chart and see how that rates. Also, highest that it's been in a very long time. So now is, and we've got a little bit of technical divergence. Brand new high, accumulation distribution not as high in terms of the cumulative delta, and then the swing index also looking toppy. This is a fade in the near term that should give us upside in the forward contracts ahead. And again, this is a space, look, 95% sellers. This is a space where we say short term, we have ourselves a pullback. Longer term, we have ourselves a bullish move. So if we want to stare that down, what is your interest level in something like this? Yes, no? Let's see what you got.
I'm definitely interested in a lot of the metals here. I would say I'm interested in copper, uranium, palladium, gold, silver. So I'm interested in any of these.
Okay.
I just felt like I've missed it in some cases, like with gold.
Yeah, and it does feel like that. But here's the thing, especially for gold. Retail traders, in terms of their portfolios, when institutional investors come out and say, this is where we have our traders positioned, the number is less than 4%. So when they call their brokers and go, I need more gold, we're going to see another rally event. So personally, I would not be surprised to see gold at 5,000 in the next 6 months.
Wow. I think we just hit 4,000.
Yeah. And so at the big fat round number, we sort of jockey around for $100. $80 to the north, $80 to the south. They dance around there, find a region of accumulation, and then, it's off to the races for them next. So if we take a look at Southern Copper and we go, all right, they have earnings, it might pull back a little bit. Do I want to position for a buying opportunity, or do I want to simply wait? Okay, so if you wait, which might not be bad, you have this area at the 106 in a space where you say, hey, this is what it's looking for. And so here's what you can look at. If you're thinking, I don't mind being put to this, if it comes back a little bit while other things are running, here's how you can do that. It's not out of the question to do something like this. So let's say you're looking for 100 for it to come back, right? Okay. So you're going to go, wow, thin pockets here. I don't like that one. Hang on a second. I thought I built this already. Yeah, the volume's not really good here. Let's come back to this one when it starts moving a little bit more.
Okay.
This is going to be a great trade if it comes in here and holds this pocket and then rockets, which is what I think it is going to try to do in the next little bit. We also just had, that is a weird split. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's 1.0101 to 1.
That is
Let
a
me
super weird split.
I don't want to challenge it and say that it's wrong, but I'll look that up myself here on SCCO. What was the date on that?
It's had 4 splits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 splits. 1.001.
Yeah. There, so I've got a lot of them that are mixed up here. The one from August was 1.01. One before that was 1.007. And the one before that was 1.006.
Yeah, what gives? That's interesting.
I
never
haven't seen
noticed
that before.
Me neither. Me neither. All right. So we'll put that one on the back burner. Let's look at what's happening in utilities right now. So when we first came on together, we were looking at the charts and, you know, it's a mixed bag. It's bifurcated, right? But to me, here's staples, right? Those are green. Here are our hot movers, looking a little bit red.
Big cap tech, yep.
Looks a little risk off today, right? And utilities. So staples and utilities getting a little bit of rotation here. And so let's take a look at this energy space that I like. I like NextEra. I think they're in a toppy formation, right? So they could have the rotation. Looks like there's rotation into February to the downside. So there's an upside pressure event potentially engaged, and we've got earnings on the 23rd. Where is accumulation distribution? It's very high. Normally, when it gets up to this peak and it tops, it gives us a little bit of a fade. Where's the last area of really heavy congestion? It's around that 75 area. Would not be surprised to see this fading action in the future, but staying bullish in the near term. So how can we say that? In general, that's bullish further out in time and bearish closer to time. And so let me double check, make sure I have that number right. 75 on the fade. And let me see what the daily says here. Yeah, 75 November. Perfect. Okay, so this one, we actually have this fade action. I'm going to take it out to December. Okay. It's only 25 cents on the short side, right? And if we look further down the pike in terms of future motion, our rotation takes us back up into that 90 area. So we've got 85 to 90. I can move that up a little bit. Do that into March. 85. Whoopsie. 95. 105. So that's what we're staring down for NEE. I like it on the short-term pullback. It's very cheap. 23 cents, $23 for $500 of upside. And then after that, we look at how we can position into March as it gets its rise up to the edge.
Okay.
PayPal.
Yes. This is what I've been waiting for.
So here's the thing with PayPal. So look at the size of the base that PayPal has. Look at how long this is.
Yep.
Right? Something's coming. And so here's what we normally see. When we have cumulative delta that sits very low and ranges, it moves up to the range. I expect this thing to have a really big upshot. I don't know what PayPal has planned, but I'm going to reckon that it's going to be good enough to send it back into these higher levels. So here's another reason. Look at what's happening with the accumulation swing index. So what it does is it sits in this base. The second it gets up over that 2000 level, it's going to run super hot if it does what it did the last time it started creeping up. And notice it has started creeping up over the last few months. We have earnings coming on 10/28. My thought is this: whatever the earnings give us, it's going to be a buy zone. If it fades, it's going to give us a buy. If it breaches, it'll also give us a buy, but we'll have to go further out in time. That is my thought. And so my suspicion, in order to deliver that sort of thing, is the following. Wow, these have gotten really different since I put them on. All right, so way out in December, we're looking at 95, 105, 115, 32 cents.
God, that's so cheap, Anne-Marie.
32 cents. The put one, when I did it, was 87 cents the first time. But let's see if we can, if it comes in. Let's say it has a little bit of a fade into November. You know, it's going to give us $1 of insurance. If you own PayPal, buying $100 of insurance, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Here's the next one. If PayPal has a rocket ship month based on earnings coming across, the 9100 is 59 cents. So there are some cheap, wild swings for the fences that could potentially be moving around here. Longer term, in my mind, PayPal is still proving it's, everybody went, you know what, PayPal, it's washed up, it's da-da-da. People had all kinds of things to say about PayPal, but it's still running around. And notice,
I still use it.
Exactly. Look at the open interest for January of 27. Look at the volume today. Today. So easily you could go to the 100, 120, which is the measured move for this one, and you could do a regular 1x2x1 for $2. Have yourself $2,000 of upside. If you want to do something that's a little bit more strategic in terms of saying, hey, listen, I'm going to let the traders pay for some of that, it's almost the same price to do the spread in a 1x2x1. To me, tells me that there are a lot of traders in these higher brackets trying to position right now. So I absolutely think there's something going on here in PayPal. People are making some big moves further along. You can do the 120 by 135 call spread for $1. $1, right? $100 of risk for a $1,500 upside.
Okay.
All you need is time.
Okay, Big B's here saying picked up some September PayPal already this morning. Now, you mean September of 26, obviously, right? Because September this year has expired. So looks like Big B's is looking at some nearly year-long leaps there.
Yeah.
For PayPal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Look at us. With a minute and a half, I have a dad joke for you.
Oh, nice. Let's go.
I was with the grandkids all weekend. One of them plays football, and he's a very large kid, very, very tall. And so I heard this joke. Why don't skeletons fight each other?
I don't know.
Because they don't have the guts.
Oh my God. I
Most
was thinking, I should have got that one. I should have got that one. That's really good.
Yes, they're at the age where most of their jokes involve excrement of some kind. And so I leave those out.
So you went with the one with guts instead,
Yes.
which frankly makes a lot of sense there. Okay. Good stuff there. And by the way, regarding the whole PayPal thing, I think there are some notable folks that I know that are definitely waiting for PayPal to move a substantial or to make a substantial move higher. Let me ask you one really quick question before we get out of here. We've got a minute, so we're going to have to do this quick. When you're talking, you had mentioned that long base that PayPal has formed. How do you trade options when you see something like that? Because I agree with you. This is going to move. It's not going to stay here forever. But when you're trying to define your time frame, how do you pick a time frame when you see that kind of long base?
So when you first start seeing the base, your question becomes, all right, they're building a base. What is the trade while they're in the base? Now, while they're in the base, you're going to have to do some kind of credit spread, or you're going to burn up all your theta, right?
Okay.
So once it's in the range, like it's been sitting here, if you go for short time frame formations, a credit spread statistically is the best thing to do.
Okay.
When it breaks out of the range, you give it 3 to 7 days if you've got a little bit of time on your hands. And I would say no more than 2-3 months. Give yourself that bit of time. If it breaks out of that range, you should cover it if it keeps out of the range for 7 days. Now, if it doesn't and it falls back in the range, your credit spread works. If you're looking at a spread like this and realizing, hey, not only do I have myself sitting in a wide base, I now have a drift up on my accumulation event. And so you can see right here in the past, you can start seeing the rise in accumulation. And so when that rise in accumulation really starts showing up, your head should go, something's a coming.
Okay.
And so if you move in the direction of the accumulation, you're going to end up going, all right, I need more time. I'm just going to move it out 6 months.
Gotcha.
I'm going to sit on it.
So if you take one too early, move it out. Okay. Really good stuff here, Anne-Marie. It looks like your joke went over well there. So doubly good stuff. Anne-Marie, we'll see you on the webinar tonight. Are you back this Friday?
Yes.
Perfect. Anne-Marie, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll catch up with you next time.
See you. Bye-bye.
That is Anne-Marie, folks. We're a little bit late here, so I'm going to get you over to Tech Tune Up with Paul Meeks. You don't have to go anywhere. We're going to send you there right now. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy.